Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs went down swinging, although ignorantly. They lose to the Sacramento Kings 131-129. They were paced by Devin Vassell with 30, Domantas Sabonis with another double-double with 31, and a dunk to close it out. Victor Wemby did not play and won't play for the rest of the West Coast swing. In the college hoops, we're closing it out with tournament weekend.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got stuff to talk about. It is the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa. He's busy. He's in front. And he is the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. And the guy that interviewed the Rocket, Roger Clemens. I'm Rob Thompson, the guy who got to watch RJ interview Roger Clemens. Easy E on the other side of the double pane. He's going to be taking care of us for the next 4 hours. Strap in. This should be a good old Friday. We made it. Last alarm for a couple of days. Spring break for a lot of folks coming over the weekend. Don't you remember the excitement of spring break? We're going to treat today like that. I'm already gone.
Also, be careful because we're losing an hour this weekend.
Oh, crap.
So
in 48 hours.
That's not quite
72 hours. It's too early for math. It's half of that. 56
it's in like
hours.
42 hours.
Something.
41.
It'll be 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, in 48 hours it will be 7 o'clock.
That's what I meant. 47 hours. So we're going to be back. So our weekend's going to be cut short by an hour. That's what you're telling me. Like, you know what?
I mean,
coming into
technically, the next
you only get
6 months are all going to be cut short. Well,
it'll feel normal. I mean, we'll kind of come back to it.
I'm just saying it's technically not just the weekend. It's technically all life from here on out.
Did you know that little side note? And we're so glad our morning crew is here. So while we dawdle around, make sure you're logged in appropriate places and clear your search history because you never know who's coming next. Make sure you're watching us here on our YouTube channel. It's easy to find us. We are 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, the Morning Huddle. I see us all over the place now that RJ Ochoa has attached his name. So it's really cool to watch it. We look forward to seeing you. You can type and watch it come across. You can be part of our, like Puma did right there. Buenos dias. We're having a conversation as to the sexier sounding languages earlier.
I mean, I don't want to take credit for this. You were kind of all in on this. You were just kind of the grand language decreer. You were like, this language isn't sexy. This language isn't sexy.
I think we can universally agree that while appropriate for many things, German is not the language of love.
No, and I think French is kind of the sort of hallmark language of love. Spanish, though, can certainly work out.
Oh, yeah. It's the Catalonian, it's the Lisbon that kind of gets in the way when you're speaking with someone from Barcelona. It's hard to talk sexy.
Well, then don't roll in there and ask about the Galacticos that you learned about.
I learned a lot about the Galacticos. And an utter failure from what I understand. Last night, the Spurs, I wouldn't call it an utter failure, though it was an absolute utter failure. Good teams don't lose those games.
Way to bury the lead, though, Rob. It's time to raise the banner. 121.
I said the but, and then you dove right. You did it perfectly. Last night was done to script, to perfection, from wardrobe to production. It worked. Your San Antonio Spurs now own the longest streak in the history of professional basketball called the NBA of games with 20 or more assists, and they did it with a bang, not a whimper. They came after it. I mean, they really did. It was the best assist night, I think, in weeks. So celebrate appropriately.
They hit 20, I would say, like in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it was kind of, I know we've been joking about like whether they would lose it or not. They were sitting on 19 at halftime, and I thought, if they're going to lose it, this is the way. Like to just go assistless.
Yeah, just
you know what? In the entire second half.
Last 4 minutes, if that was the problem, they would not have broken it.
But you know what? We have done something that nobody ever has, and it didn't even take Wemby to do it all.
That's right. We did it without you, Victor. So limp around as you will. I thought it was so appropriate they came in wearing brown. I was like, if you're going to break a record of no consequence, wear brown.
The reason you should watch the YouTube feed, I've only seen Rob dance a handful of times, but I've never seen him dance while holding a whole conversation like this. Like anytime I've seen Rob dance, it's just kind of because somebody else is having a conversation. So this is a great song, by the way. Kool and the Gang doesn't get enough love and respect with regards to history. So shout out to them. But shout out to the Spurs. Actually, I need to go back and look who authored the assist.
Oh, I know. We need to go back. It's the first assist of the third quarter. And that'll be easy to find. We'll give appropriate flowers. They did it without Wemby. They still went down in flames in what should be a heart-wrenching defeat. They played.
What do you mean should be? It is.
Well, keep in mind the ultimate goal here. And winning is about fourth on the list. They played a heck of a game. We wanted to see Dominic Barlow get some minutes. He offered his highly caffeinated best. We had a good game from Zach Collins last night. So we're giving flowers today. We're also talking a lot about the NFL as that illegal tampering period. I don't know what we call it. It's all just around the corner.
I have our guy, by the way.
What's that?
I have our guy. I have our history writer. Our Thomas Jefferson. You ready? It's appropriate that I said our Thomas Jefferson because the initials are the same. Trey Jones was the record breaker.
Yes, sir. Trey, congratulations. We're going to print up your plaque on the printer in just a minute. As soon as we can get appropriately framed inside one of those little zipper pouches, we're going to put it on a thumbtack over your locker.
It was a 2-point layup, nice little one by Zach Collins. The Trey Jones fed him on.
So there we have it. We stand atop the mountain that is a sharing basketball team. That's 121, and let's keep the ball rolling, baby, because that's all we got. And yesterday, I was so excited. We were so excited. We were going to talk. I saw RJ talk to Roger Clemens. Yeah, the Rocket joins the Morning Huddle today. He'll stop by at 7:30. I got to see it. The good story behind it, but Roger stopped by. I had a good conversation with RJ. Hit the highlights of what the Rocket brought into. I understand there was a fair amount of Cowboy talk.
Yeah, so when we were getting set up to record, he said, "I hear you're a Cowboys guy," and sometimes guys sit down for interviews like this, and you're kind of like, "Oh man, this guy's gonna roast the Cowboys," right. And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I love Dak," and I was just kind of like, "Really?"
I was going down the toilet. That's the last thing I heard. I got a lot of family members that are Cowboy fans. I love Dak. Roger.
So he was like, "I'm going to interview you," and I was like, "Well, that was Rob." But it was kind of refreshing to hear a really positive experience around Dak Prescott. Like I said. In that moment, you normally get the guys that come in, they're like, they got to get rid of Dak, man. Dak sucks. Dak's dink and Dak, blah, blah. I was like, what a breath of fresh air. Roger Clemens, way to go. By the way, that was Rob. So,
by the way, that guy crying in the background, because I so wanted to bring up Aggie baseball the other day. I was just going to ask him if he'd been paying attention to
you will be happy. He said well, I don't want to ruin it.
Well, don't ruin it for anybody. Let's set the table at 7:30, thereabouts, right after our silver and black conversation. We will have the Rocket, Roger Clemens. Good guy, despite his secondary education. We'll talk some Cowboys, the culture therein. The tampering period is ablaze, and there's some players already committed. We'll look at what we expect to happen over the weekend. We've got the Spurs going down, and man, oh man, so it begins the madness that is March. We got conference titles, we got ladies playing, we got games here, we got stuff to talk about. So hang close to us. Let's get this party started appropriately. Y'all ready for this? See, I can keep doing song titles over and over. Oh, by the way, also, it's Oscar weekend. The Academy Awards.
Not a song title thing, but yeah, we can get into some Oscar stuff, some movies.
We're gonna hand out our version of the Academy Awards, and as soon as we come up with a name, the Películas Fantásticos.
Oh my God, that's the name.
With that in mind, Películas Fantásticos will come up at 9:30. But in the meantime, we're talking about our favorite movie that is the Dallas Cowboys. It's a comedy and a tragedy. Hey, we're looking forward to a good weekend. What's going to happen with Dak and all things silver and blue? Hold on. It's going to be a bumpy ride today on a Friday. Strap it in. We're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Presented by Sierra Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyond's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever. The Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
This is ludicrous.
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Do you have failing or missing teeth? Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Mueller, Chief Oral Surgeon at Doctor's Implants.
I had missing teeth. I had crowns. I had partials.
There was no way I was going to walk into my bathroom every morning to see my teeth in a container.
At Doctor's Implants, replacing your teeth with full mouth dental implants might be the long-term solution you're looking for.
The 6-Hour Smile is a permanent full mouth teeth replacement. Your new smile will be custom designed to fit your face and lifestyle and will look and function just like regular teeth. You won't need to remove them from your mouth overnight, and you won't need adhesive to keep them in place. Eat freely and smile confidently again. Research them at doctorsimplants.com. Receive a complimentary doctor's consultation and CT scan when you call 210-640-0000. Again, that's 210-640-0000.
Home of the 6-Hour Smile.
This is the home of the Aggies. This is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Andrew. The voice of the fighting Texas Aggies. You can catch them live tomorrow, 12:30 tip right here on San Antonio Sports Stars. They close out their SEC season. And Oxford taking on Ole Miss. The Aggies are in full tournament mode now. They got to win several more times to get their I was going to curse at them. They can't shoot. But anyway, let's move on. I have on our rundown, this is what it says. We find a version that I can read, obviously. Dallas Cowboy culture has been under attack this week.
Yeah.
See, we call it under attack. Is it under attack, or are we just coming to the realization that this is what it is? Because
I think that, well, it's really funny. And a lot of people noted this yesterday all over social media. Dalton Schultz on Wednesday on the Pat McAfee show, talked about the weight room and the zoo and all these different things. And he said that that's the way Jerry Jones likes it, that he's built up his brand. And obviously some of what he said included specifics, but most of what he said is what a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans have said all offseason and for a long time, right? But it's one of those, like, we can talk us, but you can't talk about us things. Because after Dalton said it, there were so many people that were like, oh, he's just bitter. He's just a loser. He's just mad. It's like he's saying the same thing that you're saying. But the part that I found to be so interesting about the Dalton Schultz fallout was how many former players jumped on and said, yep, that's it. That's totally right. That's absolutely correct. And these aren't players who, are all commonly bitter or anything. These are players with different experiences, but they all agree that the brand is way too much of is a noticeable part of the process,
right?
To the point that it becomes a distraction.
When I heard the guys that were jumping in, and they were agreeing, but they weren't agreeing like, yeah, it was awful. They were just saying, yeah, that's life with the Dallas Cowboy. Is there's a lot of people watching it. That's the gist that I got. I didn't get like at least most of the guys were upset about it, because I know guys like Bryce Butler. He needs a little bit of that light. There's no place better for him. I hope he didn't look back at his time as a Dallas Cowboy, didn't feel like there was enough attention paid to him or the rest of the dudes, because that's what he thrived on, and some other guys as well. Marcus Spears, I heard him agree. He wasn't mad at it. He was like, yeah, you're a Dallas Cowboy. That's Jerry.
I think though that we would all, if we could flip a switch and have it be different, I think we all would.
I'm not sure we say that. Oh, come on. Would we? Would we really want it any different?
It is by the definition of people who have walked the walk a distraction. Now, to your point,
it is. It's an absolute distraction.
They're not saying it's a massive elephant in the room, but it is at the very least a baby elephant, right? Like, and something that you can't not notice, and something that is so noticeable that when you're on different teams, which is what all these players noted, it's not a thing. There was a Marcus Spears story, an older story that popped up in the middle of all this, where he was talking about after his time in Dallas, he went and played for the Baltimore Ravens. And he said, John Harbaugh's the head coach. He said, Steve Bisciotti's the owner. He said, in 7 months, I saw Steve Bisciotti twice. And, that kind of speaks
but when
to the
he said
difference
that, though, what was he complimenting Bisciotti? Was he saying it was better there, or was he saying it was just very different?
I think it's some of what you're saying. I think that on some level, every human being is a narcissist. On some level, every human being likes attention. And so I think that, I don't want to speak for any player, but I think a lot of players, like you said, enjoy some of it and benefit from some of it. And everybody wants to have it both ways, right? Everybody wants the attention when it's all going well. But, when they're a little embarrassed and they want to tuck their tail between the legs, because we all have those moments, they want to hide just the same way we all do. And so everybody wants it both ways. And so it wasn't a Steve Bisciotti's awesome, Jerry Jones sucks take. It's this is probably what I needed in that moment, and it was nice. And, maybe there were days in Baltimore where he wished it was a little bit different, and maybe there were days in Dallas where he wished it were a little bit different. But the fact that it is different is what makes it different, and players are noticing that.
I think the universal thread was, once you leave the Cowboys and you go to another locker room, it's kind of an exhale, like, whew, I can just come to work. Then I don't have to worry about
swinging without the donut line type of thing.
I can just come to work, and I don't have to worry about walking through Jerry's presser. I don't have to worry about guys that are always on the periphery in our locker room. I don't have to worry about that. I can see why you can, once you get away from it, you go, my gosh, that was intense. It was like when you see how the president ages over 4 years. I mean, just in general. Yeah,
that's a great way to put it.
I think the Cowboys kind of age you at 1.5 speed. I think you get away from there going, man, that was fast. I need to just take a breath here. Let me just be a professional football player and not a media star or a part of a media party.
You brought up Bryce, and he and I had a back and forth on Twitter, and I asked him if it was a bother. That was the word that I'd used. He said, yeah, it's annoying, but you can only compare it if you have been on other teams. If that's all you know, then it's just like, this is how it is. And that's kind of what Dalton described. But if you come from a team, Bryce was on the Raiders before in Oakland, and then go to that, it's like, what the hell is going on over here? Why is there people in the facility? He did include a ha-ha, and I don't know if that's because he senses the volatility of this subject, but yeah, like, especially if you're coming from somewhere else, you're thinking like, dude, back there, they just lift weights.
Right.
Like,
here it's an exhibition. I got to bring it. I do think that is why when we see other, former players call it out, I also wonder, when we look at the Cowboys and free agency, why it's so difficult sometimes to bring a free agent in. Because not only are they very accustomed to other places and other modes, these guys are already kind of stars that are, we're talking about big time free agents. They know what it's like at places where they're not under so much exposure. And if you're coming into this, you have to be fully prepared. And I think once you get to the likes of, like, I remember the courtship of Odell, and you thought, wow, it just feels right. I think Odell walked in there going, I've already got a traveling circus, so you can try and combine my circus with this circus. This will go one of two ways, and it can only go to the full extent of either. I'll either be a superstar or a bum. There will be no in between here.
Who do you think in this era of Cowboys football, in the drought era, has been the most meeting of the minds, the most Cowboys
Terrell.
the most Cowboys culture meeting superstar union. I know the answer, but
Terrell.
That's the answer.
Oh,
yeah,
it was.
the guy who did sit-ups in his front yard on the middle of a holdout. That's the guy. Like, sign him up. You know what I mean? Like, the T.O. era was incredible. I mean, just there will never be anything like that ever again. It was.
They always say, RJ, don't you wish you knew it was the good old days while you were in the good old days? That was the good old days, because we had man meet moment meet owner. And it was an ideal situation for two dudes that just were in this gravitational pull of each other that just kept spinning and perfect for several years.
My last kind of TO thing is it bothers me how we talk about these great moments from T.O.'s career. Everybody talks about the Sharpie celebration, whatever.
Popcorn.
And whatever. The popcorn moment does not get enough love. That's what bothers me. Like the just instinct to grab and the way he poured it through his helmet, it just perfectly flowed through his. I mean, like, that's an all-time NFL shot.
But they hide
especially
it.
For the guy who said get your popcorn ready, like, to have it just like cascading through his helmet was incredible theater. There will never be anything like that ever again.
Sadly, that is the culture. You can hate it, you can despise it, you can envy it, because there's a lot of teams that envy exactly what the Cowboys have and dream of having the kind of coverage and scrutiny that they have. We'll see where it heads over the weekend. Your thoughts on this and anything else can be voiced or typed in a variety of ways. Reach out to us on our feed. You can get on what do we call them? The
Brigade Bar.
The Brigade Bar for our morning brigade. You can go there, and if you want to highlight and tip, what's it called? The tip thing.
Super chat.
That's awesome.
Super chat.
The super chat. You want to get yourself out there. Do that. Be a super chat.
You want to tip Rob so he can take the earnings and I don't know, go wherever. You're dancing again. Okay. Rob is in a mood this morning.
It's Friday, and we're going to treat it appropriately. Coming around the bend, Russell Wilson. Will he have some ketchup on his shoes? We'll tell you what that means next. That was awful, I know. This is the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Serena Williams from Pro Football Talk. The Dak contract. Jerry, I don't know, negotiating in the media. If we don't get a deal done, our plans are still going to be fine. Dak talking yesterday, confident a deal will get done. When do you think Dak Prescott will get his deal done?
Well, they need to do it sooner than later if they're going to do anything in free agency, if they're going to extend the contract of C.D. Lamb, if they're going to start talking to Micah Parsons. Having said all that, they're not going to do anything just like they never do in the first week of free agency. It's not like they have to get something done by Monday, but I would think in the next couple of weeks, they need to get moving on this thing.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Scott, you've got a question about radio stations?
Yes, I do. Back in the 80s, when JD and I guess Bobo were doing radios, why did stations sound so different, like in a car or something? Were they compressed or something like that?
Bob? Cocaine.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
At Lowe's, pros save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 230 or more select James Hardie fiber cement siding panels. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 9 or more select premium foam flooring underlayment. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, and move again, pain-free. No pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. So take action now. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting. For months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100% feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Cowboys play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, you want to be here about 7:30. Faux show. Roger Clemens will sit in with the Morning Huddle, at least half of us. The other half missed it by technical difficulties, though he witnessed it from afar. It was like a bad dream. You know, you had those dreams where you're oh, maybe that's just me. But anyway, it was awful, but it was wonderful all at the same time. Roger, the Rocket, will be here at 7:30. In the meantime, the NFL, what is it, Monday at 3? Is that when things are official?
Monday at 11 is when the legal tampering period opens. Wednesday at 3 is when things can become official. The new league year begins. We get a, like,
So right
new
now,
league year begins.
Are you? If you're speaking to each other, you can't talk about what you're talking about
unless you've been given permission. So, as an example, the formality of Russell Wilson being cut by the Denver Broncos has not happened yet. They've just announced that they're going to cut him. So, in a technical, literal, legal, in this world sense, he could not speak with other teams. However, they have given him permission to do so.
And
so that's that's the way you have to do it relative to if you're being cut by a team right now. If you're a free agent to be, technically, if you're on an expiring contract, you're not allowed to be talking to anybody right now. So it's a little bit like,
don't bring it up, but what will it take kind of stuff. But on Monday at 11, you can talk about talking about it. Right?
Right. On Monday, you can legally tamper and you can agree to
terms. You can talk about talking about it and you can announce it.
Well, the announcement is Rob
we
have
come to terms that no contract is signed because we can't. But
correct.
Okay, so here we sit. It is a rare opportunity if you're looking for an experienced quarterback to get one that's going to be paid for by somebody else. I mean, realistically, it might not be perfect, but somebody out there is going to benefit by having this quarterback just fall into their lap. Tampa Bay benefited from Baker last year. I mean, there is value to be had. It appears this might be a really good match. If for no other reason, I can't wait to watch the Mike Tomlin, Russell Wilson dynamic if this was, in fact, something that could happen. Though I keep hearing that Pittsburgh isn't interested. Why do I keep hearing that?
Pittsburgh has a weird level of loyalty to Kenny Pickett. And,
I mean, little hands, really as we call him?
Yeah, he had small hands. And I think the only reason that they are so interested in Russell or so reportedly interested in him is because he will be cheap. Now, the details of this all are Russell's contract is guaranteed, the portion of it that he's owed, which is massive, by the Denver Broncos. So by cutting him, they're still on the hook for that. And so any payment that Russell gets from his new team will eat into that. You know what I'm saying? And so it behooves Russ and it behooves his new team to pay him the league minimum because he's not going to go for more than his current rate that the Broncos are paying him. So if you're Russ and I'm the Steelers, hey, man, take as little as possible. The Broncos will foot the bill for this, and it will give us more flexibility to put talent around you. Plus, you get to kind of stick it to them. Russ in Pittsburgh, I mean, a lot of people keep throwing the Raiders out as an option. That doesn't intrigue me. I'm kind of intrigued at the idea of Russell in Pittsburgh. It's weird, but I'm kind of coming around to the idea that offense has some skill position players that he wasn't awful last year. Like the narrative of who he's been has trumped, the perception has become bigger than the reality with him. He's a functional player. And to your point, for pennies on the dollar, he can absolutely help somebody out.
Well, there's a couple other teams that I'm kind of surprised aren't talking to him. I mean, there's some bridge teams that need a little. Tennessee feels like, Will Levis was okay, but that might need some time, and Russell could step in. There's
people just not in the place. Russ, you got to be like somewhat competent, I think, to get Russ in.
So you really,
Russ really wants to rehabilitate his image. You know what I mean? And Tennessee's a little bit too far back on the process.
And Atlanta, even though they have opportunities with Cousins, wouldn't be interested in something cheap like that either.
Atlanta is also in a precarious spot because, I mean, they need someone better than Russ. You know what I mean? They obviously, that's just the reality of it. That's why Cousins makes sense. I mean, they need the 10th to 12th best quarterback in the NFL to be truly, truly, truly competitive. I think that's maybe Russ's ceiling right now, but Atlanta needs somebody with a much higher floor. Because while I think Russ was serviceable last year, you can't bet on serviceable. You know what I'm saying? Right. And Atlanta, every offseason we have they're a quarterback away, and that was Denver for a point, obviously. But Atlanta is kind of that costume right now. They're the people who need, the maestro to really make them sing.
There's a bunch of safeties that have hit the market.
Well, it's a devalued position.
It is.
I mean, that's the
again,
reality.
My belief. Is there anything there that maybe the Cowboys should just kind of kick the tires on? Because I know they're trying to upgrade the size quotient for the defense.
They gave Malik Hooker an extension last year at training camp. They obviously brought Donovan Wilson back in free agency. They're probably going to let Jaron Curse walk in free agency. They have Marquise Bell, who I imagine Mike Zimmer will move back to safety from linebacker, where Dan Quinn thought he was just awesome. They also have Israel Mukwamu, who's kind of a safety corner hybrid player. I mean, they got enough bodies. I mean, so like they, I think that the market is really depressed to the point that you might be able to bring in somebody on the low, cheap, and have yourself a fifth body. And whoever you bring in is probably a better option for you than Izzy Mukwamu or Marquise Bell at this point at the safety position specifically. But I think they're pretty set with Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. Now, maybe you want to hedge that bet.
I'm not upset with that,
but I mean, I understand, the players themselves being upset about the market, but the market is the market. And so a lot of these guys are going to want to wait and hold out and hope that they get a big time payday. But a lot of them are going to ultimately be forced to take 1-year deals. And that is Stephen Jones's music, baby. So you might be able to wait things out till late July and bring maybe you already started the camp being able to bring somebody in. That's actually how Dallas brought in Malik Hooker to begin with, was at training camp. But I mean, you don't got to pay big money. Linebackers, safeties, running backs, they're not positions that demand premium assets, premium resources. That's just the way football works in our current moment.
Hey, coming up, did we get a finals preview last night as the Denver Nuggets took on the Boston Celtics? Interesting outcome and some thoughts on Jason Tatum coming around the bend. The basketball world is heating up. Not only does it start to feel like some playoff matchups in the NBA as everybody's rounding into who they're going to be or want to be, but it's also hoops world is on fire. The ladies' tournaments going on, and we got 4 conference championships going on this weekend as well. Let's look at the basketball world coming around the corner. And while we prepare for that, prepare yourself for some golf. Go to sasportstar.com. Get yourself signed up for our Spring Golf Classic. It's March the 25th out at the Golf Club of Texas. It's all celebrating and going along with the Flight by Yingling and all that goes on. We want you to play with us. Get yourself signed up. We're almost out of room. We'll be right back with some hoops right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Presented by Sierra Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve, the obsession with every detail, and the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
This is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Joe. Half of the Blitz, they're going to Vegas. We're staying here. Now, this is cool. The Blitz is headed to Vegas. You should go with them. It'll be a Sweet 16 weekend. They'll be broadcasting live from the CERT. You should be there. Opening weekend of baseball. Greg Maddux will be throwing out the first pitch there at the world's largest sports book. And the Blitz will be broadcasting live for the ultimate March Hoops experience. Go to circalasvegas.com and join the Blitz and whoever wants to tag along for the mega march at Circa Casino Resort. We met the owner there at the Super Bowl. He looks and acts just like a casino owner should act. Right?
You would be an interesting casino owner if that
Me?
were you. Yeah.
I'd go broke if I was a casino owner.
It'd just be really friendly, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd, hey,
always-
you got $1,000. Go have some fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go. Here's a marker. You ever been given a marker?
No. Have you?
No, me either. I've been marked. Did you watch any of the Boston Denver game?
Yeah, I mean, it was on the same time as the Spurs.
That was
game,
the problem, right?
Well, it's 2024. You know what I mean? There are ways to do this.
I can't
And so-
multitask. I did have split screen going. I actually was going both ways. What if I said this? Is this a fair statement? Up until 1999,
no.
That Jason Tatum is the modern day David Robinson.
I need more before I grade this.
Man, I love watching Tatum play. I think when it doesn't matter, Jason is as pretty a basketball player as there is. He's the thing that you want to see when you watch basketball. Beautiful shot, size, fluidity, gets to the rim, team guy, just everything you want in an NBA player, a superstar. But when it matters, he's the Little Mermaid. Last night was just, it was a 5 of 13, 15 points, dude. Jaylen Brown on the other side, 41. Lead follower, get out of the way. I'm not saying this is permanent, but I'm just sensing that Jason Tatum is coming up to this point in his career, kind of like where David Robinson was until Tim Duncan got there. And while Jaylen might be Tim Duncan, I'm not sure he's going to be enough.
So 8 assists for Tatum. It finished with a -2 ±. So just kind of a
not terrible.
Comfortable. Well, just kind of a comfortable to be in the background kind of game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the concerning thing, right? And I understand it's hard to, get up for a March game again, even if it is against Denver. But I understand it's not the same. But right or wrong, fair or not, that's the expectation of you now, Tatum. I would it's got some Chris Paul vibes to me. You threw out David, just doesn't fit the total description you talked about, like the size, but just like this one, like nobody has a bad thing to say about Tatum. You know what I mean? Like
I know.
He's that's how Chris, again, like that's why I think of Chris Paul. Like everybody loved and still loves watching Chris Paul when you can. You know what I mean? But it just was like this, and it isn't going to really matter, like at the end of the day. And I think that it's fair to be kind of concerned about Boston. I mean, like, just even the volume of shots, like 5 of 13 compared to Jaylen Brown. You mentioned 16 of 29. Like, why are you only putting up 13 shots?
Just, I know you're being like, I'm the good teammate. I had 8 assists. You notice?
Nah, dude.
No,
you got to be the dog. You got to be the alpha in this game. And I know people think what they do about Jaylen Brown, but I kind of respect saying, like, this is the moment. I'll be the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Tatum, you want to hide, you want to be in the background. I'll step up. I'll take the swing. And it's kind of concerning. It is. It's a really, and does Jokic, shy away from the moment? No. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, that's just the dude on the other side of the floor here, but
let's talk about Jokic real quick.
Okay.
Last night was his 125th triple double. That's the 4th most by any other NBA player. It was a masterful performance from Jokic. There is no question at all who is the best basketball player in the world. There's nobody even close to Jokic. And he does it on glide. You know what I mean? It was a masterful performance last night.
Even the kind of kill shot that they had was just the most effortless, wildest, randomest, most purposeful, assist. You know what I mean? Like, you will never be able to convince me. Like, I'm never convinced that he knows what he's doing, but he does. Like, he's
seeing things at a level. It's Neo, man. There's things falling from the sky that he sees.
Yeah, like there was this movie in the 2000s, like early 2000s, called Clock Stoppers. You know what I'm talking about?
I've known a few Clock Stoppers in my day, but we're talking about entirely different things.
It was like a kid's movie, and in the movie, this kid had a watch that could stop time, but he wasn't stopping time so much as he was just moving really fast, like because of the the possession of the watch, and so it felt like he was stopping time, but he couldn't, whatever. And so that's kind of what Jokic is. Like, what he does looks weird to the naked eye. You know what I'm saying? But in his Jokic vision, it's beautiful. And
Jokic
it's
vision.
Just
it was glorious. And nobody does it like him at about, it feels like he's about 95%, but he's going at 110 because he's just moving faster than us, maybe.
But see, like, it felt like he and Tatum were both at 95%, but because Jokic doesn't have to be, and because Tatum doesn't want to be at 100%. You know what I mean? Like, Tatum is the guy who, like, doesn't want to give 100% because it might not be good enough. And then you have to deal with the fact that your 100% isn't good enough. So you're just going to give 95%. And then you can wake up the next morning and say, well, next time I'll give 100% and it'll be good enough. And it's just a really disappointing thing. I think if you're a Celtics fan, you got to start to feel really, really concerned. Like, what does all this mean? What do all these, like, 50-point or whatever million-point wins you're authoring? And cool, you're going to be the one seed in the East and you're going to, win the East. But this all ends the same. All simulations end the same way for the Celtics, and it's with you kind of coming up shy against this specific team.
I'm going to make a prediction. The Timberwolves will find out that they don't miss Karl Anthony Towns. What they're going to miss is bench strength, but they're not going to miss the big cat. Nas Reed is going to step in and be just fine.
And with the block, the biggest block since LeBron on Iggy last night. I mean, like what a chase down for the win.
It was
Holy
glorious.
Crap.
Two games last. Are you feeling it? Do you get that hoops kind of? It's here, man. And as a
this is that weekend. Obviously, it's March, and it's starting to feel. It's starting to be all around, and that's exciting. See, like, I'm excited for some of the most beautiful and some of the dumbest basketball that we've ever seen. That's what March is for. And then it really just kind of sets up the NBA playoff run. And, for our purposes, also the lottery.
Speaking of dumb basketball, that's what we saw last night. Frittered away might be the term you would use. An embarrassing loss, maybe not, but a valiant in defeat. I think we can agree on that. They went in without Wemby, and the Spurs came out just 2 points short, as we saw the last-second dunk from Domantas Sabonis, who put on his own exhibition last night. We're going to talk about it in the silver and black just on the other side. We also got a lot of NFL talk as we're nearly to the legal-illegal tampering Why tampering is even a term used in this period, I don't know, but we're almost there. We'll talk about what has already happened. There's a lot of teams that have announced some things that they can't put on paper for a couple of days. We'll look where they are now. Also, it's Academy Awards weekend, Sunday night. Plan appropriately. We're going to give out our own TMHs, our Películas Fantásticos. We'll be doing that later. But most importantly, coming back in about 30 minutes, a little after 7:30, the Rocket, Roger Clemens, joins RJ. I'm on the outside looking in, but it's a great interview nonetheless. You don't want to miss this. A rare pleasure. Hold on tight. We've got a whole bunch to do. So go hydrate appropriately and pay attention to these fine sponsors. We're talking Spurs next. This is 94.1, and you are on San Antonio Sports Star. You know, as we head into a weekend, there is no better place to be than a place that is prepared for you, a man cave all around. I'm talking about Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is waiting on you today as tournament time comes around the corner. You need to be playing with the Twin Peaks types. They've got all the tournament stuff you need while you're there and all the brackets you need when you're home. That's right. The bracketology has been, it's been upgraded at Twin Peaks. How about $2 million available for your bracket run? That's right. College hoops just around the corner. $2 million bracket challenge. Go play today at Twin Peaks. You'll lock in all kinds of chances to win $2 million and even more epic prizes at every store. TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com to get yourself started. Now let's talk about Friday today. All 4 locations, Bourbon and Brews, M-Played. It's all afternoon. Bourbon, the best, paired with the best way to serve it. You know what I'm talking about. Big, icy balls. But to take care of that, they have the lingerie to warm those balls up. That's what Twin Peaks does on Friday. It's Bourbon and Brews. Be there with me because the eats are spectacular. The drinks are always icy cold. But why do we go? It's those scenic views.
Your home for the Cowboys.
Pressed that all the way, runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs lost last night to the Sacramento Kings. They did it without Victor Wembanyama, losing 131-129. Devin Vassell led the way with 30 for the Spurs. Domantas Sabonis, in Wemby's absence, capitalized 31 points, 17 rebounds. It's conference tourney period as college basketball winds the regular season down.
Wembanyama, three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh!
Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa. I appreciate the garment today, RJ. The Houston Astros blue. I like the button placket there. I'm Rob Thompson, not appropriately dressed, and on the other side of the double pane. Not doubled up, buttoned up, but wearing his UTA, his fighting Maverick gear. That is Eazy-E. Edwin Hafner. How's everybody this morning as the Spurs go down in valiant effort, although ignorant in its application? Spurs lose 131-129 off of a turnover to a dunk. If you're going to do it that way, man. If you're going to go down in style. Lose it that way, because we don't really want wins, right? We want to be great in our efforts, but in the end, valiant in defeat.
It was, that timeout right before, you just kind of felt like,
oh, no.
You felt like, oh, this is normally where they fall apart, but it's actually going to be kind of difficult for them to fall apart tonight.
Oh, no.
They found a way, and it was disappointing. But they did make NBA history in the process.
Yes, they did. They achieved the greatness that we have been following for these many weeks. They sit now with 121 consecutive games with 20 assists or better.
Who would have thought?
Cue the music. Cue the celebration, because they did it. And what I found most appropriately was not only did they break the record, they did it in grand style. It wasn't like they didn't know it was coming, because they came out dealing. In fact, what they did was the perfect tease. They gave us 19 assists in the first half, dropping dimes everywhere, and we had to wait through the halftime to get the record. They wore the brown. They put on their appropriate brown suits and celebrated all the way as the Spurs had a hell of an assist night, man. 39 assists. What? And they sit atop. Now, this record stands. The longest streak up until now was the 84-85 Los Angeles Lakers. That was record-setting there. And you know who else did this well? Remember that Detroit Piston team in the early 2000s, 03, 04? Yeah, they did it too. Now,
it was the Bad Boys.
Yeah, it was 04, 05.
No. The Bad Boys Pistons.
Oh, I thought it was the 03, 04, so it was the 80s Pistons. Everybody got rings to show for what they did but us.
Look, they're one of my all-time favorite lines in a movie, and not to jump the gun on the películas fantásticos. But Michael Fassbender in Inglourious Bastards has this incredible line after 3 glasses,
sure.
All right, where everyone knows what's about to happen, and he lights a cigarette. He says, if you don't mind, I'm going to go out. I'm going to do it speaking the Kings, because they've been speaking in German the whole time. Spurs went out against the Kings. All right, if you're going to do this.
I thought it was so appropriate. No, in all seriousness, it is representative of what Pop wants out of a basketball team. So it's very minimal. No matter what you believe in Pop, he's still communicating with his players. They still get exactly what he wants. Now, whether it's manifested at appropriate times, that's a whole other story. Because while they had 39 assists, which was a glorious thing, there were 12 turnovers. And they weren't awful. It was just the timing of their turnovers. In the first quarter, dumb stuff that would have helped them pull away. And then in the fourth quarter, I don't know where you apply the anger, because they are kids, and some of them are making dumb mistakes. And you got Dominic Barlow bouncing around all over the place yesterday, just making some dumb mistakes. But I'll give it to him. The effort was there. And Zach Collins, let's give some flowers, man. Now, granted,
he scored the point. He scored the basket that, was the assist.
Yes.
But dude, yeah, I mean, Look, we had some fun with the assist thing, but like, dude, this was really embarrassing.
It is.
I mean, this was super embarrassing. And this was actually almost more embarrassing for the aforementioned Kings. They were up. This looked over. I mean, this actually was over. This whole thing took a Kings collapse. This should have been Spurs getting waxed. But the Kings opened the door. The Spurs said, "Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?" And we're just going to close it right back. I mean, it's so hard to watch this team play basketball. And I don't have the optimistic, oh, well, they made it close without Wemby take that a lot of people kind of have right now. There were some nice things. I mean, Devin Vassell is really, really coming along, and that is awesome to see. We obviously had some harsh words for him now a few months ago, and he has done nothing but play exceptional basketball since he has established himself as a part of the project moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, I'm good.
Savior 1332, that's been a question for the last couple of years, dude. Where's the defense? Some of it's ignorance, some of it's apathy, some of it's just inability. I mean, there's some guys running around on our basketball court that really shouldn't be playing a whole lot of minutes. So you take that away. Then you take the defensive structure itself, which I do not purport to understand defensive strategies in the NBA. I don't. It's master's level stuff that I managed to have an 8th grade education and that kind of stuff. But it seems very difficult to pick up. Whatever the Spurs are trying to do, and this has been over the years, the defense is the last thing that kind of clicks in. But once it does, we've seen masterful performances. This year, they've been relying on Wemby to take care of a lot of the problems, and they didn't have him last night, and they suffered for it, especially in the fourth quarter when De'Aaron kind of woke up. They suffered for not having help in the paint, though they did outscore the Kings 34-31 in the fourth. It was, again, valiant effort in defeat. So I'm not going to be mad today. We're not going to have Wemby in Golden State. We're not going to see him until they come back over the Rockies. He's out for the rest of this West Coast swing, as Pop told us yesterday. So with that in mind, let's talk about the good stuff. Blake Wesley and Malachi Brenham.
Malachi was great.
Wow.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're right. If you applied the let's ignore all the really frustrating things,
yes,
handicap. Malachi was great. My kind of takeaway is Devin, though. I mean, there's a lot of authority happening there, and I maintain what we've offered in the past few weeks, but I can see how on some level he can convince himself that the ball belongs in his hands in these big time moments, because he's a great player in his own right. He's just not the best one on the team. And so that's just the reality of the situation. But so Devin Vassell's my kind of winner from this game. If I have to, have a hard takeaway from it all, I don't know if yours is Malachi or Zach.
Well, no, Devin was the guy. He is, yes, no question. And he's doing exactly what he needed to do last night. Well, what bothers me in situations like this, and it shouldn't, and you kind of glossed on it, is this what we perceive as this competition as to who is the alpha. And I don't think even I mean, in my heart of hearts, I know Devin knows that this is Wemby's team. I mean, but there is those that when that occurs when you're thinking about what's happening. He is not in that reactive or this active mode where the very first thought, the second thought, and the third thought is Wemby, and then finally you're the fourth thought. And when he gets the opportunity like last night where he lit it up, man, 11-18, 4-7 from 3, I mean, made all of his free throws, no personal fouls. I found that odd. That's interesting.
I mean, there were a lot of interesting things about this game. This was like a weird moment in time for both us and the Kings.
Oh, I'm glad you went that way, because while we're talking silver and black, let's talk about Sacramento for a second. What's missing? Because I get this, man, that's a fun team to watch. That backcourt with Monk and Fox, holy cow. The second-year kid from Iowa, the dude can play. DeMontis, holy cow, double machine. But I watch them play, and I will go up and down the court, and they do some fabulous stuff. But I know they don't have a prayer as assembled. It's just there's something missing there, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
They're not, I don't want to say consistent, but they're not reliable. You know what I mean? They can't be the same team for an entire game. And I think last night's people throw out the term microcosm or whatever a lot. Last night really was a microcosm of who they are. I mean, they were crushing. They were on cruise control. You know what I'm saying? And then they just take their not even take their foot off the gas. They turn their cruise control off. They almost like turn the car off. And then they wind up behind. It's just you're kind of wondering like, whoa, where did this go? I mean, what happened? There was no reason why last night should have gotten as close as it did. You know, to play the ever popular win probability game here. At one point when they were up 61-41, they had a 97.6% win probability. This was with 4 minutes and change left in the first half. I mean, they actually not only had that shrink, they were actually in the red. At one point in time, this got all the way up to 87.7% win probability for the Spurs. I mean, they blew a 20-point lead. And I know that happened over the course of, an entire half almost, but there's just who is blowing a 20-point lead to the Spurs right now. They're not a serious team. They're fun. You know what I mean? They're the icing on the cake. They're not the actual cake. There's those weird people that only enjoy the icing, and that's the Kings. They want nothing to do with the actual substance.
The other thing that struck me as I watched DeMontis, it is a pleasure to watch him play. Not since Tim Duncan has there been a more fundamentally solid guy on the court. He generally is a pleasure to watch for anybody who just takes great pleasure in watching a guy really good at what he does, whatever that is. He's really good at what he does. To watch him, I thought think of the talent that has come through Oklahoma that is now dispersed around the NBA, and they still have a bunch of talent. There is no better talent evaluation crew in the league than the Oklahoma City team. Just think of the dudes that they have drafted over the years that they haven't been able to hold on to. If they could have held on to a half of these cats, it really is ridiculous the number of guys that Presti and crew have brought through Oklahoma City. Because Sabonis, think about if he was still there.
Well, you could say that for.
Well, I mean, but think of the guy from Harden on. I mean, just guy after just. God, now Durant, they don't take credit for that.
Sure, but I mean,
remarkable number of talented dudes that have come through Oklahoma City, and
not just like kind of good dudes, like good dudes with long NBA careers, like game changers. You know what I mean? Like dynamic superstar level people. They are the I don't know what the opposite of the kiss of death is, but they're the kiss of life, I guess, the breath of life. You know what I mean? Like if they knight you, you're gonna have an amazing NBA.
You've got game. One other reflection on the silver and black before we got Roger Clemens coming around the corner. Have you watched what has happened with the Pacers over the last couple of days as they've had this West Coast run?
Speaking of kiss of death, they lost to us, and all of a sudden, dude, that was bad. I mean, I don't know how you're mad about like an amazing play by an amazing player at the very end. That's just kind of, they got one of those and we don't sort of thing, even though they traded for, your boy Siakam, but that sucks.
Exposed, man. You guys are pretenders to the throne. Brian Oleg on our brigade bar. Devin is consistent. We shouldn't hold that against him. He's there to put up points. We need that from him, and it's him and Wemby, our only offense. Brian, you're right. And that's why I'm not holding 30 against him. But I just want him to always and forever remember the pecking order of things. And I think that's where things get out of whack. But last night, stepping into the breach. And let's not take away some of while the defense is awful, they did a pretty decent job on Keegan Murray last night. I mean, he got a couple of shots early, but he was on the court a lot for his athleticism and really played very little role in the game. He was a participant most of the night. And that was in no small part to some of the defense. Now, he is kind of a wilting flower as well. He would have fit in really well with the Spurs. A little bit more love. Keldon is, hey, man, they have indoctrinated in him. You get to take a three-pointer for every 3 dribbles you put in the paint. If you dribble in the paint and you take a shot in the paint, you get to take a 3. But you have to do it 3 times, then you get to 3. He's attacking the rim, and it's the best part of his game.
On the subject of the paint, I mean, predictably, a disaster for the Spurs.
Yeah.
Turns out no Wemby. Well, hey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just But I mean, it's amazing how the whole world knows something is going to happen and then it happens. You know what I mean? Like that's an amazing phenomenon that is sports sometimes.
Dominic Barlow got some early minutes. Something we wanted to see. He is an athletic guy. He does provide a certain amount of bounce that we don't see. Even Wemby isn't the kind of bounce guy, but he makes up for other stuff. But Dominic, he knows he's athletic, and he just a little overdid it last night. But the good minutes, good hustle minutes offered to him. And Zach Collins, while he is he's an invitation to score. Whoever he's guarded is going to get buckets. He tries. I appreciate Zach for what he is. But last night, when apples to apples, when athleticism is even and you're kind of doing the same thing, Zach offered exactly what the Spurs want from him. It's just that there's so many nights where he is just not up to the task because just physically he's not up to it. I mean, he's not big enough. He's not laterally quick enough to do some of the things that are just absolutely necessary on as a post on a bad perimeter defensive team. I know, RJ. I know.
It's just, I mean,
see, here's the thing. This is your first really go through with this. I
appreciate your optimism,
last year,
and I applaud your optimism or your willingness to kind of find the light in this. And I don't mean to say like it was 100% darkness and 100% frustration, but man, there's just something to you had this. You had a chance to put a smile on all of our faces and you didn't just blow it, but everyone knew you would blow it. You know what I mean? Like you lived up to our worst expectations. There's a different kind of disappointment in all that.
Just to keep everybody feeling good about themselves and why we're doing all that we're doing. I would like to give you just a couple of names just to keep in the back of your mind, like Matas Budzilis, Rob Dillingham, Cody Williams out of Colorado, who's making a jump there's talent we're chasing. Just remember those names and what is coming from the false starts that we offer today. There will be benefit tomorrow. So the names like Reed Shepard and Dalton Connect, who is a shooter. Not since Jimmer have I seen a dude like that. So focus on the college games over the next couple of days and understand so are the Spurs.
We will hold them to that, all right? Because these March days, all right, these really frustrating nights that we go through. I mean, we're staying up to almost midnight watching them bottle this thing at the very end here, all right? Yeah. There better be another shoe to drop, all right? You cannot tell us next season about being patient or this or that or whatever, because we're giving you this time. We're giving, you're cycling through your mulligans right now, and you're burning up the benefit of the doubt really, really, really fast. You've had a lot of it built up in the bank, but coming next season, there's not going to be as much, kind of ammunition in that chamber.
He is the Rocket, Roger Clemens. He's coming around the corner. It's an interesting conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. The Rocket sits in with the huddle, or at least half of us. That's next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game. Presented by Sierra Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for America's #1 fantasy sports app, Prize Pick. There's over 3 million active users, and I am one of us because it is one of the easiest and most exciting ways to play daily fantasy sports because my knowledge matters. It's about more. It's about less. It's about multiplying your money up to 100 times. It is so easy to play because your knowledge matters. And as basketball season arrives, use your knowledge. Ex-players, former players, current players, you know what you're doing. Steph Curry, Anthony Davis,
Davis, Caitlin Clark, Kevin Durant, you know how to play. Download Prize Picks now. Use the code ALAMO. You'll get up to $100 matching. It's Prize Picks, the #1 fantasy sports app going. I play because it's fun and easy. You should play because you can win, because all you need is the knowledge to play. Download Prize Picks app, use the code ALAMO, get your $100 match, and start playing today. It is that easy. It is fun. It is Prize Picks. Download today. Thank me later.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor? Try. You want plumbing? LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Back here on the Morning Huddle, my name is RJ Ochoa, and I am joined by one of the very best to ever do it in any walk of life, one of the most talented athletes in a lot of sports, really, and I have a lot of questions to get to him with. It is the one and only Roger Clemens. Roger, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on San Antonio Sports Star.
You got it, brother. My pleasure.
So you were telling me that you had some questions about the Dallas Cowboys. I have a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to give you the floor. What did you want to get into relative to the Dallas Cowboys?
Absolutely. So full disclosure. So let's just go through so first of all, my wife, her family, she was born in Arlington, and she actually did a little of the Cowboy cheerleading stuff, had a good time doing it. So my oldest son, Kobe, he's a Cowboys fan. My number 2 son, Corey, I did a commercial in Tampa Bay at the stadium way back when, and they gave him a bunch of Buccaneer stuff, so he's a Bucs fan. Number 3, Casey, he's a Cowboys fan. My youngest one, who's playing for the Phillies still, he's a cheesehead. I did a commercial there at Lambeau when he was little, and they brainwashed him. And then, of course, I was a Raiders fan forever. And then I met I had to do a jersey swap with Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins when they came in town. So now I'm kind of rooting for the Dolphins too, even though I root for our Texans at home too. I really root for a bunch of dudes because I got a bunch of friends on a number of different, so I'm kind of all over the place. I root for my friends to do well when I'm on there. But man, I can't hardly bring up Dak's name at the house right now, man. It's like, I go, what are y'all doing? This dude can play. They're like, oh, Dad, man. I go, and then I saw that the Twitter and all the stuff from family member stuff. I said, what the heck's going on? So anyway, I hope they do well. I hope he does well. I'm a fan of his. I think his heart's in the right place. And I think it's just friggin' tough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, let alone. So, but yeah, I got word that you were a Cowboys fan right before we came on the air.
So I just so much cool stuff to get into. Obviously, we don't have the time for all of it. But I got to be honest with you, Roger. Whenever we talk to, or I talk to different athletes and interview them, they come in, they parachute in, and they're not fans of. You brought up Dak. A lot of people are. I mean, you know how it is, and so it's kind of refreshing. I mean, Roger Clemens, obviously all-time dude in my mind, but you kind of went up a notch, if I'm being honest. So you're a fan of Dak. You want them to bring him back. You want to see an extension. You want to see him a part of the team for a long time, as I understand it.
Yeah, I think you got to give him another go. I don't know how long you lock him in for, but I think you got to give him another go. They got a really good, their defense is getting better. He's got some weapons out there, but if they are not together in the locker room, you got no chance. I mean, I can tell you that's in any sport. If guys aren't on board with one of your main stars, your main leaders, that's definitely a problem, as you know. So. And again, I've talked about it many times. In our sport, in Major League Baseball, it's really cool that you can hit the ball 400 feet or do this or, throw 95, 98 miles an hour. That's great during the season. When you get to late September and October, you better have two frontline guys that can throw it and command it and be pitchers, not throwers. And you better have some guys that aren't allergic to leather out there behind you. They better be able to catch it. And same thing in the NFL. You better have a defense. If you're going to get deep into the playoffs, you got to have a defense. If your guy can throw it, you got Mahomes, guys like this that are, a different breed mentally, which is what they are. Physically, they all have it. I mean, I don't think you'd be a quarterback in the NFL physically if you weren't ready. And you have control over that. Mentally, you have to crush people. You have to be unflappable. And the same thing in the NBA. I told him I'm not really a big fan of the NBA during the regular season because they don't play defense. You get 35, you got your 35, yeah. You got your 38, yeah. Then they play defense the last 5 minutes of the game. When playoffs come, they start playing defense. They get up in your face. They're giving hard fouls. I enjoy watching the NBA come playoff time because guys, they're playing for keeps and they get in each other's face. Again, Dak, I understand that, but I think he's got a team unless, again, they're not together behind the scenes, which we don't see. Again, I'm just like you. I'm on the outside looking in on that. I'm not in the locker room. They better be getting along.
Wow. Roger Clemens, the GOAT. Of all the things that I envisioned in my life talking to you about, I never would have thought that we would have gone down this path, but lo and behold, here we are. You're with us on behalf of the Color Guard Classic. I have some questions about that as well, but you know better than really most human beings about you kind of outlined pressure and what comes with that. There's a really isolating feeling to being a pitcher, obviously, and you mentioned September, October. That's a similar feeling, obviously, to what Dak Prescott experiences. It has, I think, as somebody who's gone through it, you have to believe that there are just people out there who are kind of made to do that, and you can't teach things like that. Whether it's Dak or Mahomes, obviously, is a great example of that, but do you believe that is something that can be harnessed, that can be trained, that can be developed over time, or is that simply something that it's a pass-fail proposition? You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, well, what I believe in is those players you're talking about. You make people around you better, and you elevate their game, and that's what you do. I mean, again, I went through 3 transitions. Physically, I got you. It's my fault if I'm not in shape. So all those miles that you don't see that I'm running on a AAA field or around the stadium at night, and I'm getting my miles in, that's one thing. Then the mental part of the game, which I think is the most important thing, because everybody's good at that level. Everybody can hit, everybody can run, everybody throws hard, blah, blah, blah. Mentally, I think you got to, again, be unflappable. And then last transition, emotions. You play on emotions sometimes. My arm will be underwater. I'm not throwing hard. I'm not commanding the strike zone. So I might think about my mom that, with her sickness she went through, my grandmother, stuff like that, and try and take me to another level emotionally. Now, in 24 years, I've showed my backside a couple of times out there because I pitch with a football mentality sometimes. And but that's who I am as a person. You got to know my background. My dad passed away when I was 9. My mom raised 6 of us. She worked 3 jobs so I could have a badass glove and a sweet pair of cleats. And she always taught me, just like my grandmother. My grandmother said famously, if you're a ditch digger, be the best damn ditch digger in the country. And that's, anybody that, like yourself, that loves your work, loves what you do, I can hear it in your voice. I can see the passion and you enjoy what you do. So there's some other guys that, they experience a little bit of failure and they're done. I mean,
Right.
you never hear from them again. So all that figures into it. I mean, that's, again, it's your mindset and how you go about your work. And but I loved what I did for 24 years. I don't miss it. It was a lot of work. Had some wonderful teammates. I still get on my milestone 300 game win night or 20 strikeout game or whatever. I get great texts from all my catchers and different teammates. That's what means the most to me. And I see those guys with the work that I do now. So the work that I do with the Astros or the different teams, go down and visit with guys, I enjoy doing it.
Great advice, just really for any walk of life, from the GOAT, Roger Clemens. Very cool that you kind of get to relive those things on, different anniversaries or whatever. And I think those of us who imagine life as professional athletes, you hope that would be the case, obviously. So it's awesome that you obviously have that going on in your life. You mentioned the work that you do now. Golf is kind of a sport that, encompasses all of the things that, we've kind of talked about so far. It's a really isolating game in a lot of ways. You think about the mental fortitude necessary from players on the tour, whatever, tour that is these days. But you're having some fun out with the Color Guard Classic, as I talked about. Can you tell us a little bit, because this is an incredible cause that you're obviously working in partnership with right now?
Well, you're right. It's an incredible cause. Color Guard does a great job bringing awareness. And like I said, we were talking to some of the guys at the dinner last night. I didn't realize how high of a success rate, 90% success rate if you catch it early. I was fortunate the last two days here in the Pro-Am to play with some cancer survivors and hear their story. It's pretty remarkable. And we're out there on the golf course enjoying, like I told them, it's Wednesday or Thursday. We're out here playing golf. We're upright. We're on the right side of the grass. Congratulations on that. I love the game of golf. I've been playing it for a long time. Obviously, golf for amateurs like myself, better days than others. But I get to come out too, and like Jerry Kelly, spokesperson for Cologuard and Exact Sciences, heard from their people of what they've been able to do, and this event's incredible for the Champions Tour. I don't know that there's one that's really any bigger. All the staff and the people behind the scenes that I've met, they go above and beyond. I mean, it's just a great event. So when they asked me to pop over here and play in the event again, I did. Like I said, I played it like 3 years ago, and it means a lot to me. I mean, I have the Roger Clemens Foundation. We help at-risk kids, underprivileged children. So we get to see those guys out here. But again, the game of golf is something that I enjoy. I've met far more business opportunities through the game of golf than I ever playing Major League Baseball, playing with businessmen out here and stuff. So thank you for mentioning it. They do a great job, and we love Cologuard and Exact Sciences. They do a heck of a job out here.
No problem at all. You guys out at La Paloma Country Club in Tucson right now. ColorGuardClassic.com, where people can learn more information. I saw you mentioned Twitter. I saw you hanging out with Justin Leonard. There's not a lot of dudes who've sank a putt for their country, and Justin Leonard's up there. So
he's a Longhorn, baby.
Well,
that
Roger,
is fine. Well, and I see your golf shirt on. I'm glad to find my hometown colors.
Right. So, I didn't want to, mess things up. I do want to offer. I am a fighting Texas Aggie. So that's the only place where you and we differ a little bit.
Listen, now we got to fight again because we're in the SEC. Before I could root for y'all just to beat Alabama.
Right, exactly. Great night a couple of nights ago, actually, with the boys in maroon coming out on the right side of things on the diamond. Yeah. And I would be remiss if I can't believe I haven't talked to Roger Clemens about baseball at this point in time. I am wearing a Houston Astros polo right now. That is my team of choice. We have a lot of Astros and Rangers listeners here in San Antonio. Your thoughts as we get closer and closer to opening day? Obviously, it was a contentious ALCS last year with all the road teams winning. It was super fun. The Jose Altuve Game 5 happened on my birthday, so just a really powerful memory. I can't wait for the season to get here. What do you make of the Astros and Rangers chances as we get ready for 2024?
Well, first of all, I'd say that, we've been spoiled in Houston over the last 7 years.
Totally.
What Mr. Crane and his staff is, what they brought to Minute Maid and for the fans in Houston. And we're spoiled really in the state of Texas now with the Rangers winning and Boch doing his thing. Great manager. And, what a great time to be a baseball fan in the state of Texas. So, we get spoiled in Houston. These guys, I could go all the way back to when I was retired and came out of retirement to pitch 3 years at home in Houston. I mean, what a treat for me, driving 20 minutes to work, being able to sleep in my own bed, getting somebody, going to work with Bagwell and Biggio and getting them to the World Series and really flipping a football town to a baseball town.
Right.
And now to have, like we had to endure 3 years of 100 losses, and then to come to where the team is now with 2 world championships and winning like they have over 7 years. It's been incredible, that run of championship years. So just a lot of fun. I enjoy working with the team, doing some work with the Astros Foundation, what they do for my foundation. Very appreciative of that. So just a lot going on and a lot of fun. Going to bounce down to spring training next week. We'll bounce into Phillies camp to watch my youngest one who's with the Phillies and visit with some of the young pitchers. They're trying to learn a couple new pitches. We're going to show some guys some new pitches, and we'll see what happens.
The Astros, one thing I love about them, besides the fact that they're my team of choice, is great people, great organization, and it all kind of feels like it's always in the family. I think you're a great example of that in our current moment. There aren't a lot of teams like that in sports where I don't even want to say alumni, but just when you come through, you're always a part of it. And it feels, you can sense that from far away. And you're certainly kind of a walking testament to that.
Yeah. When the guys asked me to bounce in to visit with some of the guys, I love doing it. I was one of those guys, one of those young pitchers, whether it be Hunter Brown or even JV sending me a video of his bullpen way back when of a couple things he was working on in his side work. So I love doing it. I'm very appreciative, thankful they asked. I was one of those guys. I watched Nolan Ryan when I was growing up. I got the opportunity to play with what I considered the ultimate power pitcher of all time, Tom Seaver. Tom Terrific was my teammate in Boston for a couple months. So I got to visit with him one-on-one. And so just really cool stuff.
Well, be on the lookout for texts from Josh Hader now, Mr. Clemens, because you got a lot of opportunities for cool text messages. As just pitchers are concerned. Roger Clemens with us here on the Morning Huddle on behalf of Color Guard, colorguardclassic.com to get more information about Color Guard Classic and by Exact Sciences. Roger Clemens, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy all of baseball season if we don't talk to you. And can you guarantee the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl, please?
Yeah, and in the background, I expect to see a Dak Prescott bobblehead in the background on your shelves next time.
You know what? I'll get one of those and a Roger Clemens one. You tell me which uniform you want to get.
I'll send you a Rocket Man one. You put him right front and center.
If you do it, I will.
And he doesn't shake his head no. He only says yes.
I promise you I will do it. Roger Clemens, thank you so much. Nobody go anywhere. We'll be back right here on the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hook 'em horns, baby.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, everybody's still talking about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott's contract. Will it take until August to get something done? We'll talk to John Machota from The Athletic at 5:15.
Plus, we'll react to what we saw from the Wemby-less Spurs last night in Sacramento. It's a Friday. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you've been thinking about buying a new car or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, think Ancira.com. Browse through thousands of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and RVs. Shop for your next new Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Buick, or GMC. Or if you're looking for an import, we have a huge selection of Kias, VWs, and Nissans. Or for your home away from home, a full line of RVs and campers. And you'll always get the lowest Ancira price, in-store or online at Ancira.com.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. and the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyer4us.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyer4us.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyer4us.com.
94.1 FM. Punch it! You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
Yes, it is here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Get your ass out of bed. It's Friday. Spring break to many. Man, I miss those days. Spring break. 9 days of debauchery and fun somewhere with sand between my toes. Did you ever do spring break?
Yeah, SBX.
Oh, man, yeah. You're from the motherland.
Yeah.
I was spring breaking back when MTV would show up down there.
Wow.
Yeah. I threw beer at the new kids.
Do you have a neon T-shirt?
I have several.
A highlighter hat.
All of those. The louver sunglasses.
If you'll allow me, a quick shout out to my buddy Mike Frey. One very infamous spring break, we got henna tattoos, and
what was yours?
Have to.
What was yours?
Well,
and where?
So we were like, let's do this, and we were like, what should we get? What would be your go-to henna tattoo? I guess is maybe the question. Henna tattoo.
That would go away.
Yeah, it's a temporary. It lasts like a week, like 10 days.
No regrets.
Okay, well that's not as cool as what we got. I promise you.
I bet it is.
We got dude and sweet on each of our backs, and so that's I still call him that, and he calls me that. So
are you sweet or dude?
What would you guess? Actually,
you're dude. No,
every time I ask people that, off better like dude vibes, and he actually gives off better sweet vibes. But it was his idea, and it was $5 a letter. So because it was his idea, he got to be dude, and so I had to be sweet.
Was it spelled correctly, or were you sweat?
It was spelled correctly.
Okay.
And I promise you, we were as annoying as you think.
I'm pretty sure you were. I didn't doubt that, man.
To everybody, different events that happened in the fallout of that, we were as annoying as you could possibly be with the whole dude sweet.
Hey, RJ, it turns out that if you don't properly clean your moose, you get penalized 2 hours.
Is that true?
It turns out that if you don't properly clean the moose that you killed in protection of your dog, you can be penalized time. Is that clarifying?
What are you talking about?
You don't know what I'm talking about here? You don't know the natural rules of the Iditarod? You're not keeping up?
I've literally not
For
understood.
those of you not aware
of
what is going on in the Iditarod, the great race up there in Alaska, the leader of the race, a man named Dallas Seavey. Now, he's the guy who shot and killed a moose after it attacked his dog Faloo during the race. Okay. He killed it, dressed it, and ate it, and carried on and kept winning. Has been penalized 2 hours in the race because he didn't completely clean his moose that attacked his dog.
That's pretty not cool, man.
You know, we bitch about the fumbling through the end zone. We complain about the tush. Now, this is a rule we need to address. If we're, of all the rules out there, we need to clarify how clean does my moose need to be when I leave it after it tried to attack my trusted dog Faloo.
If that isn't a sentence that every person is asked.
I mean,
I
how many times do we have to go through this, RJ? Over and over and over. There are mostly clean moose left on the Iditarod Trail. And yet again, it's happened.
These are fair questions that demand answers. By the way, Brown Boy says in the Brigade Bar, I got my first tattoo during spring break.
So did I, and mine's real.
Yeah.
Mine's still gross.
Mine was awesome for like 10 days, like I'm saying. But the spirit of it lasted forever. So
now, do you guys, when you were down there close to the beach, are you like here they come kind of thing? Like here come the spring breakers? Was it ever felt like that?
Like growing up?
Like growing up,
yeah.
like, hide the women and children, here come the spring breakers?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the Valley, my cousin once came down with his friends, and I think stayed with us for a night, like on their way down, and it's just, it's like, it's the vibe. Ooh,
yeah,
spring break.
So it's kind of like welcoming people to your party, or is it like, let's go away until they leave?
I think it's definitely the latter. It's like, let's just stay inside. Let's just watch movies.
Right.
Let's watch Fantástico Películas. Or no, I'm sorry, Películas
Fantásticos. I would like to congratulate you on the Clemens interview.
It was really fun.
It was really good.
Great.
He's a pretty laid back dude. I'd never interviewed him. But I appreciated what you got from him. That was really. He's in a good mood.
He made me feel extraordinarily comfortable coming in and saying like, "Oh, you're the Cowboys guy. I want to interview you." It's like, "Oh, cool. Let's do this." And he was like, "I love Dak," and I wanted to be like, "There aren't a lot of us."
Did we just become best friends?
It really felt that way, to be quite honest with you. And so Roger and I, you know what I mean? We're, I'll ask him about your moose question or whatever if you want.
And Ruda, yes, if you trim the moose hairs, the antler does look bigger. The interview itself was spectacular because I wasn't a part of it, and that might go down as one of the sadder things that has ever happened to me in this business. Because I have never had the opportunity to interview Roger. He talked about Tom Seaver. I've even interviewed Tom Seaver.
Yeah, I thought about it because you had said that when we were kind of prepping for this. So I thought about that in the moment.
As I see, for those of you unaware, that interview happened yesterday about 3:45, and we're going to replay it here in a couple hours. You need to hear it because Roger's on fire with Longhorn baseball and Cowboy football.
Individually accessible on the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So there's lots of ways to view it. The interview was great, the way you got it going, and I had the unfortunate part to see the very beginning. See, we set it up, it was in the afternoon because he'd been playing golf there in Scottsdale, I guess.
Tucson.
So I was running a little late, and we get everything set up, but I'm still late, and I have no idea technically what to do. And RJ's waiting on being very patient. We got a 15-minute window. There's not, the train's going to leave the station regardless. So I get in there, and what I think
he's got other.
He's in the car wash. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
So I get in there in the nick of time, and I think, exhale. I did it. I'm there. I'm hooked up, ready to go, and my microphone won't work. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't get it. And the sad thing is, it worked for just enough time for RJ and I to speak, and for Roger to come on, and I hear him go, "Oh, so my whole fan, you guys are Cowboy fans." Oh, Roger, gone.
Yeah, it was a frantic, I would say, like 5-minute window where we were troubleshooting, and we were on the phone, on one ear and trying to get the thing set up on the other ear. And then I heard you on, on the radio ear, and I was like, "Okay, we're good." And he said, "We're good." And so we hung up the phone. And then I just heard that last bit that you mentioned, and then like into oblivion you went.
And meanwhile, just off camera, like literally, I'm sitting. That's the great thing about doing this stuff. You never know what's going on just off camera. My son, who's looked over my shoulder and sees at one point there was a moment of me and RJ and Roger all on the same screen, looking at each other like we were. And it was about to happen. And my son is excited watching this about to happen. And it all goes blank. And it's the funniest thing he's ever seen.
It was a strange phenomenon. I've never been like a fighter pilot or anything like that, obviously. But so
it was
Rob's
a go on without me
malfunction-
scenario.
Yeah, like Rob's malfunction happened right at the beginning of the window. And so we have to work in this window. We can't be like, hey, Roger, hold up. You know what I mean? And so it was like Rob hit the ejector seat and it was like, well, we're still in this plane. Yeah. So, hey, Roger, what's up? And that's when the Dak Cowboys thing happened.
Let's use this to fill the gaps here. There's a couple things going on in the peripheral world that might mean something to you guys. It's Friday, and Friday normally has a significance in Texas. The Friday Night Lights play a role, right? Well, guess what? Fox Sports is going to step on that. Friday primetime college football games are coming your way. The games will be broadcast on Fox. You're going to have Big 10, Big 12, and Mountain West games. The first matchups are going to be determined with the television schedule coming. Friday is no longer sacred. It's coming. And it is wrong. And there's nothing we can do to stop it.
I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg, if we're being honest. I mean, football, already dominates our lives in the fall and into the winter. And so they're coming for every day. And the professional level, the professional level is looking, they already did the Black Friday game. They're like, oh, so, you guys are cool if college football does Fridays. I mean, college football, we already squashed on with our Saturday stuff, Let's NFL games on Fridays are going to be a thing.
So Fox endeavors to keep you locked onto their channel starting on Friday with Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday pro football.
Yeah, and then you can watch that on your new package, the new whatever they got coming out, Fox and all them. So watch out.
I'm never going to fight against more of anything that I like. But this is one of those things that we open the door and we allow things to happen, and then things happen and you go, well, we didn't want that. I didn't want that, because consider I'm a college coach. I got a Friday night game. That is one day less I'm on a recruiting tail watching my kids play, my future recruits on a Friday night. That's one.
Or your actual kids, if you're a coach. Yeah, I mean, even take the football out of it, right? It's just a day. You know what I mean? It's now a day that you don't have in your life. Maybe Friday nights, even if you're not at the local high school game or whatever, and I hope you are. I hope because it's obviously a fun environment. It's worth supporting. But if you're not, it's a movie night or it's the stock show or, who knows? Like it's pizza night with your family. You know what I mean? Like, but now, no. We have to have football on all the time. We have to dominate your world. We have to take all your time. Football.
In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to hear from Jane Slater talking about the progress in Dak Prescott's negotiations. Evidently, there's been none, but we'll hear it from one of those that is very privy to situations like that. We're also going to continue talking Spurs. It's conference tournament schedule. The ladies are playing right now in college football or college basketball. This kind of floated down the line. It's kind of a peripheral thing, but it does play into here in San Antonio. UTSA is on the road tonight, getting ready to take on Temple to close out their basketball season. Temple and the UAB Blazers basketball game was flagged.
Oh, this the gambling thing?
Yes, for some sort of obscure, some peripheral gambling issues. Then it's been not that UTSA has anything to do with it, but the Temple UAB game, the last game they played on Wednesday, I believe, has been called into question. There's something going to come out of this.
Did you see the details here, just to kind of fly through quickly?
I'm scanning it as we speak.
Temple hosted, this is a Twitter thread from Dave Connolly. Temple hosted UAB on Thursday night, and as of 1:24 Eastern, the line was UAB by 2.5. Over the next hour, the spread had jumped up to 8. So they went from 2.5-point favorites to 8.
That's one big money lay right there.
In an hour. And so it was so dramatic and so whatever that it caught people's attention. And so Dave Connolly's thread, he said, this is not your typical match fixing allegation you hear from an angry bettor. You need the pregame odds to kind of justify this.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, this is one eye-opening stat from the game. Temple was out-rebounded 41-19 in the loss. The negative 22 rebounding margin is the worst for Temple in 150 games. So kind of, it's really hard to prove that somebody fixed a game, but the line jumping that dramatically was kind of fishy.
And it turns that the Temple program has been under investigation for a while, say sources behind this. As the UTSA Roadrunners are there, well, darn it, now Temple has to try because they're paying attention. The rebounding that we thought we were going to get due to their...
They're like, we don't even have to try. We're going to domadate these
guys
boards.
Are just let me get this is great. Yeah. Sadly, that's how they're going to have to close out the season. That is very strange. And sadly, not all that surprising. Let's talk some fun stuff around the bend. We're going to be giving away our Películas Fantásticos here in the next couple of hours, but just around the bend, I hate to admit this yet again. My eyes are so bad. It is truly unfortunate.
That's what we're talking about next hour?
I think we should. Let me give you the order of events in the 8 o'clock hour. We're coming back and looking at Dallas. The culture there is Dak on his way toward a new contract. Has there been any movement? We're looking closely at Jerry Jones. The next few days are going to show us what he's made of and if they are, in fact, going to be active in the free agent market. And the glory days of Texas baseball as the Rangers hold the crown and the Stros are a part of it. And we'll have the Rocket talking about that as well. What a Friday we have for you. Earn it. Make sure you're liking and sharing and doing all the appropriate stuff. We'll be right back on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies.
We live in a very individualistic culture. We like to be self-sufficient. And that works fine when things are going well, but not all of life goes well, does it? Sometimes life turns on a dime, and there is not a more lonely feeling than when you go through trouble by yourself, with no one to turn to, no one to help. That's one of the reasons why we need each other, why we need other people. They can listen, they can offer valuable advice, they can offer resources, and they can pick up the slack. But more than anything else, they can be there as a reminder that you're not going it alone. Proverbs refers to that one as a friend who sticks closer than a brother. But here's the thing. The key to not going it alone in your time of adversity is to be there when others are going through their tough times. In other words, you have to be a friend to have a friend, even in the tough times. This is Mark Absher, the MacArthur Park Church of Christ, encouraging you to find people who stick to you closer than a brother. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs lost to the Sacramento Kings last night, 131-129 on a last-second dunk from Domantas Sabonis, who had 31 points in the victory. Devin Vassell led the Spurs with 30 in the defeat. The Texas Longhorns will wrap up the regular season tomorrow as they welcome in OU to the Moody Center. The tip is set for 1 o'clock.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got stuff to talk about. This is the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, and an outstanding human being when it comes to playing putt-putt. I'm Rob Thompson. I know where my car is on the other side of the double pane. That is Easy-E, our resident Maverick, as it were, as his shirt proves. This hour, we're talking Cowboys, we're talking NFL, we're talking Spurs, we're talking NBA, and Películas Fantásticos, if we get there. Edwin, do I have anything to give our valiant listeners this morning?
Not today.
Damn it! I guess
What
we're
about
just gonna
advice?
we're
You can
just gonna have
give
to
him advice.
Entertain then.
Advice. What would be your biggest piece of advice or wisdom you could impart on the loyal listeners today, Rob?
Don't eat yellow snow.
That's the biggest piece of advice
Hey,
you can offer.
it served me well low these many years in South Texas.
Okay.
No, here's the best advice I ever got. Would you like the 3 best dad advices I've ever gotten?
Sure.
When you're a young man, find a doctor and grow old with him.
That's a good piece of advice.
Always buy real estate by the acre and sell it by the foot.
Oh, another great piece. Look at that. 2 for 2.
And in the same mode, own the least expensive house in the most expensive neighborhood you can find.
That is a little bit out of your control. Certainly more so than the others. But an interesting thing if you can pull it off nonetheless.
I think if you do that, you'll be served quite well, both physically and financially. We didn't get into the mental advice because, quite frankly, I have none.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. The best advice there is one from a guy who used to sit in this seat, and I do firmly believe it. Happiness is indeed a choice.
Oh, man. What a great throwback. Happiness!
Hey,
is a
Ari
choice.
Timken, living strong, doing Big 12 work, one of our great friends and one of the great guys I had an opportunity to work. We've all had an opportunity to work with over the years. Ari still haunts these hallways in a variety of ways, quite frankly.
Yeah.
The microwave still smells of salmon. That's been a few years since it actually has. Hey, we were talking earlier about the Cowboys, and there's so much that we're about to head into. With every passing hour, with every passing minute, RJ, I am sure that while the book is still being written, the chapter that we've been in is over. We're not there. We're on the penultimate 5 pages to the end of this chapter, and that 5 pages will be encompassed with what is beginning right now, the off season into the regular season, and then next chapter of this book. So I'm looking at this and at our rundown, and this could not be more appropriately put. Do you get the sense that right now everyone is finally seeing that I could use a variety of analogies that the Cowboys, they're seeing the Cowboys for who they are, that the emperor has no clothes, that don't look behind the curtain or you're going to see what the wizard really looks like, that this is all smoke and mirrors, that we've just been led astray by pretty things over and over and over, that there's been literally no substance for 30 years and we've been eating this candy. We've finally realized, like, oh my God, my teeth are rotting out.
Yeah, there's a little bit of I think the Wizard of Oz method is or maybe this is how the magic trick is done, right? Like, oh, they really didn't saw her in half type thing. I think people have just reached a different. There will never be apathy. People can say in their frustration, in their anger, oh, we got to start hitting the owners where it hurts. We got to stop buying jerseys. We got to hit them in their pocketbooks. Okay, that's great. Let me know how the 14 of you doing that together is really going to put a dent in things. But I do think that there is this just resignation from people where they've accepted this is just a thing. This is just a thing I allow to entertain me in the fall because they don't have the same level of interest and passion that I do. And that there's something really cool to when a sports figure cares as much as you do. That is such a rare thing. And we want to believe in our heart of hearts that the people we root for care as much as we do. I would offer the recently retired Jason Kelce as an example of that. And that bothers me greatly to do so because he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. But you really do feel like it meant to him just as much to play for that organization as it does for fans of the Eagles to root for it. It doesn't feel like the Cowboys front office lives and dies with the team the way we do. I mean, we're now 3 days away from the legal tampering period opening. And this morning, the Cowboys created $13 million in salary cap space by way of Zach Martin's contract, which was a predictable thing. And they're now under the salary cap, but it doesn't feel like they're loading up for bear. It doesn't even feel like they're storing up rations. It just feels like another day. And Monday will come and it will happen and everybody else will try to improve and they'll sit back and they'll relax and they'll talk about it and they'll be par for the course. This is not anything that they plan on changing in terms of their method as it relates to free agency.
I saw from yet another national source, the Cowboys are expected to be non-existent or very small participants in the free agent market. That's about the third different source we've heard from over the last several days. And there is a bit of me that goes, me thinks you do protest just a little bit too much. But that's me wishful thinking, I believe. I think the Cowboy fan just keeps waiting for Jerry to say, okay, hoodwinked you. I got a full house. And here we go and introduce something, whatever that is. But it doesn't look like that's coming. And
we have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
Now, I think one of the first things that Cowboy fan is looking for in this free agency period is something that doesn't necessarily have to be taken care of, but really has to be taken care of. And that's Dak Prescott. Jane Slater joined the Blitz, and she's always privy to knowledge up there. It appears not a whole lot is going on up there.
No talks at all, according to a source informed. And I know that might be surprising to some folks, so I asked for a clarification on that. And I was told, look, none at all. In other words, still, I even asked, is it because there wasn't anything meaningful to report? Nope, nothing. Now, I reached out to Dak's agent, Todd France, to confirm that, and I unsurprisingly didn't get a response back. I know that it's the offseason and news as it relates to Cowboys Nuggets does particularly well, particularly when it comes to Dak. So I want to make sure to clarify this. I don't believe this to be cause for alarm. Based on how the last contract went, France plays his cards close to his vest, and Jerry Jones and the Cowboys will negotiate this through the media, as we saw a little of that with the missive from the Combine. But ultimately, this deal will likely get done. Just don't be surprised if that materializes closer to August.
Jane Slater, a good friend of the network, good friend of the Blitz. That was her on the NFL Network yesterday.
I think, first of all, Jane is right. Jane understands Cowboys news in ways that most reporters don't. So she knows that like any mention of Dak is going to spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. So I appreciate and respect her wanting to, lock it up as best as she can. This would really suck to wait until August. And it would suck because the benefit of signing Dak to an extension now is the salary cap space that it alleviates. And in a theoretical sense, hey, Rob, we're going to create some salary cap space so we can use it to help the team. Right. That's and the window to do that is next week. And that window will be well shut by August. So, I mean, technically, the Cowboys could restructure Dak in the coming days prior to the beginning
without
of
Dak's
agency.
Consent, right? They can just fix it the way that benefits them the most and say, here, you're going to get all your money, but this is how you're going to get it.
they're not taking money away from Dak. They're not doing anything. They're just changing accounting, the way it's adjusted on their books. And Dak has no say in that. Again, it's not a negative for him. His money's not changing, as mentioned. But so they could create the salary cap space and attack free agency if they wanted to, and then still extend him in August. I suppose that would not be the worst situation in the world. But the worst situation where you get the least of both worlds is if you don't extend him now, you don't restructure him now, you therefore alleviate zero salary cap space now, and you let free agency pass and therefore don't capitalize on whatever would be salary cap space, and then you extend him in August. You get what I'm saying? So that would be the most inefficient way possible to do this, and we are technically on the precipice of them potentially doing that.
All right. We're at a crossroads. It's obvious. And we're going to get a good sense of where the Cowboys believe they are, what they do starting next week. But before I state what I believe to be the case and my firm belief of what I want to have happen, if they don't do anything with Dak and things start out on Monday, do they have any money at all to play with? Can they find some money in the cushions and shock us? Can they go, hey, we went and got this dude, whatever that is, and it's a contract, one that we go, oh, wow, they really wouldn't try to do something. Is it possible if they don't maneuver between now and then?
If you want a technical answer, yes, because of what they did this morning.
Okay.
So as of, I don't know, when we were, doing our pre-show meeting, the Cowboys were $10 million in the red.
Right.
As far as salary cap space, you have to be under the salary cap by the new league year's beginning
negotiate
next Wednesday. No, not even to negotiate.
I mean, just to even be there.
So the new league year begins next Wednesday at 3 Central. At that moment in time, you have to be. Now, you can have agreements in place and everything like that in the days leading up to, but your actual accounting in the system has to be below the salary cap space by Wednesday. But as of this morning, they created salary cap space by touching up Zach Martin's contract, again, something out of his control. So they created $13 million in salary cap space. So they are now in the black. They're now $3 million approximately in the black because of this. So they're now under the salary cap. They're in compliance with NFL rules. So they do technically have, again, más o menos $3 million to work with. Now, that's nothing. I mean, you mentioned pennies in the couches, whatever. That's technically something they could use to bring in somebody, but it's really nothing.
But at least they're allowed to go to the party. They have a ticket to go talk to anybody they want.
They can process themselves into the new league year. That's all they can do.
Right.
They are literally just following the rules. They have just shown up for school in the morning. That's all they've done. Whether or not they're ready to take the test is a different question.
And to be quite frank, I mean, they had to. I mean, they have no choice but to be under the cap by Wednesday. But at least I know going into this weekend, which I firmly believe tomorrow and Sunday are when, there's things going to happen. Now, we might not know about how they're going to be leaked and told it, but you get the sense that the moment you can do it, that there'll be an ocean of things and we're already seeing some agreements that are talked about, right? I mean, so you get the idea that will be pretty much accomplished by Sunday night, that somebody will have come in principle with some kind of deal, right? I mean, and if it's him too, then everybody else. And if the Cowboys are indeed going to do something to, at the very least, appease, the crowd, to give us something.
I don't think they have any interest in appeasing the crowd because they know the crowd ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? They're U2 off stage and we're all screaming for an encore because we're that dumb. You know what I mean? We're like they're like, we can come out and play whatever we want. You know what I mean? Let's come. I think I saw, who was it? Some band. Man, it's escaping me. I saw it on TikTok. Came out and played Bluey, the Bluey theme song. As an encore, and everybody was like, this is weird. I gotta look this up.
Please do. Hey, coming back, and I don't think in any small measure this is an overstatement, that the next few days are the most important ones for Jerry Jones in the decade, because this is truly a crossroads kind of moment as we wind down some things. And I've got some advice for you. Rip the Band-Aid off. We'll talk about what this next several days is going to look like and what it should look like, and the ramifications of both. The Cowboy talk coming around the corner, very quickly followed by Dalton Schultz telling us what the Cowboys look like. But did we take into account what he said about Houston and maybe what we should take from that? That'll be very quickly following. Hang with us. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio's Sports Star. The weekend is nigh, and I'll tell you what, you need to be absolutely prepared for what needs to happen on the grill. Tri-County Meat Market's waiting on you. Specials every week. The 5 for $25 for walking in the door. If you are a first responder, every time you go there, you're getting 10% off. Thanks for taking care of us. Let Tri-County take care of you. But I want to talk about what the future holds as we get ready for the true grilling season. Easter's just around the corner. You might as well be practicing up for what you're going to do for friends and fam on the high holy grilling day. That is the first of the 4 majors. But what's around the bend is I'm afraid you grillers are going to be running into a little bit of a meat shortage as those wildfires in North Texas are going to affect what you're putting on the grill. It's going to get up a little expensive. Hey, attack that right now. Head over to Tri-County. They put together a bunch of boxes curated for you to put in your freezer and have the meat you need whenever you want to have them at a great savings. Buying in bulk saves you money. And they've got some packages put together for your everyday griller to your high-end grill chef. Walk into either location and check out the boxes they have for you. Pounds and pounds of prime quality beef or above at greatly reduced rates as you look at what's coming toward us. So it's just a way to head off what we know is coming. But let's talk about this weekend. Hey, you owe yourself a big old stuffed chicken breast. Go get the Italian one that's like a big old hunk of lasagna inside of a chicken breast the size of a football. It'll feed 2 people minimum, or only just me, depending on the day. Get yourself a couple of stuffed chicken breasts, an avocado bomb to go along with it. Throw some vegetables on the grill that you can find right there in the 5 for $25, and have yourself a fine grilling weekend. The weather's going to be appropriate. When you walk into Tri-County, you know you're getting the very best by people who know and love what they're doing. If you have any questions, ask them. They'll tell you how to cook it. They probably did it last night. That's why I love Tri-County. I leave with everything I need to up my grilling game. Head over to Tri-County, either location in Heemner or Fair Oaks. I know you're going to enjoy it. When you do, I want you to thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Presented by Sierra Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back. My emotions are stable and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891.
I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, we're going to talk some Dallas Cowboys football. John Machota from The Athletic will join us. How long does he think it will take before Dak Prescott has a new deal? We'll ask him. And the Spurs had to play in Sacramento last night without Victor Wembanyama. How long will Wemby be out of action? We'll talk about all of that. Hey, fellas, hope you have a great weekend.
You too, Joe Reinagle. One of the great guys that we get to work with in the business, Joe. I was, sadly, I for those of you unaware, I had to bury my mother last week. And the guys at the radio station were great. You know, they were out at the funeral, and you know, the days had gone by, and we were at the thing afterwards. And I was sitting next to my dad, and my dad goes, "Man, there's a good crowd there today. It's good to see all those people." Joe Reinagle was there. My dad was just so excited. And did you know that Joe Reinagle was there? Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, Pop. Of course he was there. Good man. But my dad was like, and Joe Reinagle was there.
Joe's a big guy.
As he always is in the Blitz. The party gets going today at 2. I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm ready to for this chapter with the Cowboys to be done. And I'm ready for Dak Prescott to move along in his journey so that I can continue on my journey with the Dallas Cowboys. And it's wrong. It's not the correct thing to say. It's the dumb thing to do in most of when you grow the positives and negatives. But
I love you, Dak.
There is this gut feeling of mine that it's just never, ever going to work. And it'll be despite best efforts and best intents, and he's the best guy to be with the Cowboys right now. I know, but it's time to start winding things down. It's flash the lights. We got about an hour. Get your last drink. And I don't know how to get from where I am today to where I want to be without significant pain. But I know it's the best thing to do. So how do there's a lot there to parse. I know, because when you have that kind of attitude, you're kind of like, well, they're not negotiating. That's good, but it's bad because there's other things I need because I want that gone that I know that I can't get.
All right. So let me ask you this. Do you trust the Dallas Cowboys?
You know, it's kind of like,
it's a yes or no question.
I trust that they are going to do the best thing for them at the moment. No, I don't trust them to do the best thing for me. No.
But do you trust their overall kind of football operation?
Yeah, is it wrong for me to say yes? Because I kind of do on the grand scheme. Because I kind of do.
Look, there are a lot of things to be upset about. All right, and culture and all that stuff. But it's not dumb to say I trust them. They've won 36 games the last 3 years. I mean, like, whatever. So you trust them. You trust that they can do 95% of this job, but that really important 5%, they're really, 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 really bad at it, and that's probably related to a lot of other things.
Yes,
so
I think you stated that correctly, yes.
Okay, so you trust them. They designed the contract that Dak is on to be extended this offseason. That was the whole purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if you trust them, why are you not willing to fall in line with that? When they signed him to this extension that he's currently on, the extension off of his rookie, actually wasn't an extension, the new contract that he is currently on, when he signed that in 2021, the inevitability was that in 2024, they were going to extend him. They were going to kick the can down the road. They were going to restructure him in 22 and 23, which they did. And then they were going to get to 24 and extend him. That was always the plan. And that's the group that you just said that you trust.
Right.
So why now are you saying, well, I don't trust that. I don't trust that one part.
Because
when the guy in question is coming off of finishing in second in MVP caliber season.
There, you hit it right there. Because I trusted them and they trusted Dak, and Dak had as good a season as I think he's capable of having. I don't think he can do anything more than what he did last year. I think he's perfectly capable of sustaining what he did. I think he could do exactly what he did for many more years, 4 or 5 more years of extraordinary touchdown to interception ratio, to some come from behind wins, some miraculous plays. But at the same time, what that being said, everything that he did wasn't enough. And if I know that I have a quantity that has reached its max value, in my mind, it is time for me to exchange or move on from that. This is not a long-term, I want to retire. I am in a making mode. I need to move on. So and once I realize that, every step I make should be is how do I extricate myself from this and get as much value from the entire situation, knowing full well I'm going to take a massive write-off when this ends. Like, the first bit is going to be painful. It's going to hurt, but I know that the bounce back will be, or should be, or could be better than where I am now. So when I look at this, I trusted them till now, but I'm not afraid to say, oops. Sorry.
Well, if you're not afraid to say oops, then you don't trust anything. Like this is the most important thing going on with their team.
And I'm this is what you got to do.
No, but now you have to be, able to say to them that you don't trust them at all. This is
I
like
trust them to get them. They did a good job, and something's out of their control.
Which way you want to trust
no,
now.
This
is the most important. This is the sun of their organization.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying you don't trust this, like the gravitational pull, the amount of light and warmth that every planet in the orbit ultimately feels is impacted by this. So if you say you don't trust this, like, everything falls apart if you don't trust this. So that means you've got to throw everything away.
Yes.
If this is your mindset, then why extend CD? I mean, why not?
Because I know there's peripheral
CD?
things that are going to help no matter who's the quarterback.
That's not necessarily true. If your mindset is we got to do that, CeeDee Lamb, let's just play this hypothetical, is due an extension. He's entering the final year.
And that's
of his
who
own
I would be talking
contract.
to today, not Dak.
Well, but if you do extend CD, he's on big money starting in 2025. So now all of a sudden you're dealing with a big time wide receiver contract on your books while you're trying to rebuild. If you're really committed to this, if you don't trust them at all, why not flip CD? Why not flip Micah? Why not just store up as many assets as possible?
I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm talking and I'm dealing with issues that are going to be here after my plan to extricate Dak is done. So that if I'm looking at that, I start looking at, okay, so what am I going to be when he's gone? And I'm going to be lesser. I know that. So how am I going to maintain little things? Like, I got to get Micah here and I got to make sure he's locked in for a long time. So that's first and foremost on my list. And then I start looking at offensive line. I got to address this, whether it's free agents, whether it's drafting, that's second on my list. It's those little things that I'm not going to deal with this Dak thing because quite frankly, I don't have to. And at the end of the day, I want him gone.
That's a silly and tunnel vision way to look at this.
It's not a tunnel vision because the reason it's a tunnel,
you're living in a black and white sort of place.
No, this is 8 years
you're
of
saying
a funnel
I want him
down
gone.
to the
What if he actually wins MVP this year? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like to come to a determination and say I want him gone no matter what. You're throwing this away without knowing the end result.
Well, I know I have one more year no matter what, is what I'm getting at. If I'm not trying to throw him out the door, but I do see this over and I have to act. If it was me, everything I do, starting with the new league year, the thing tampering is, what am I going to look like when Dak is gone? Who is going to join your team and sign up at the low ball offer you're going to give them because you're the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, that might be involving how do I get myself a quarterback?
If you won't take care of the franchise quarterback who's done nothing but work for you, why am I supposed to believe you're going to take care of me? Again, you can't answer that if this is your mindset.
You know
if you're sitting a free agent down and saying, hey, you know what? Let's talk. And they're saying, well, dude, you just told the whole world that like you don't want your quarterback after this year. Why? What loyalty are you going to show to me?
By the dollars I'm going to pay you. I mean, yes, you're right.
They're not going to pay anybody dollars.
No, you're the whole loyalty thing. Yeah, that's esoteric. Dollars speak. And if I don't have them, I can't get them. But I got to find a way to get them. And loyalty.
You're right that money can make up for a lot of that. And if the Cowboys were a team that had a reputation for overspending, then yeah, somebody might say, you know what, Dak, that sucks, but I'm getting paid. I'll be here for a year. I'll just move again and it'll be totally fine. This money will solve a lot of those problems. But the Cowboys are infamous for lowballing players in free agency. So you're going to be lowballed, all right? You're going to be asked to sign a 1-year deal, and you're doing that for a team that is notoriously known for showing little to no loyalty to their players. And they're proving that by outright screaming that they don't want Dak Prescott back. This is just a horrible idea in a lot of ways.
It is a horrible idea in the offshoot, but my gut tells me that why keep trying? Why? We keep, it's just not there. And I don't see after everything I've tried over the last several years, both good and bad, both some good moves were right, but others were wrong, that it didn't help the situation that at the end of the day, when it matters, my quarterback can't live up to it. And he probably will eventually do it. I just am tired of watching him do it to me.
You would be talking to CD today, right? That's what you said.
Well, maybe it's not CD, but I'm putting the pillars of what the team will be in place.
That's what you said. You said I'd be talking to CD. CD was the one who was openly pouting in the playoff loss. CD didn't show up to that playoff game in the exact same way that Dak did, and he was pouting about it. And CD is the one who's gone on podcasts. CD is the one whose family members have now been calling out players on the team. So, like, if you're going to hold Dak to this standard, then you should hold CD to the same standard. Be fair to everybody involved. But that's what happens in these conversations is Dak is held to this higher standard. Whereas, if you're going to throw Dak out, you should throw CD out for the exact same reasons. You should where was Micah? We're sitting here saying Micah's got to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. He was a complete and total no-show in the playoff loss, and all he's done since is talk about it and throw the blame onto everyone else, and you're lining up to pay that guy?
Yeah, I am, sadly. That's the situation I'm in. And, it's one of those that
why are you willing to pay them,
RJ,
but not
because
Dak?
logic defies this stance. But I'm not. I think there's a lot of people out there like me that appreciate everything about Dak. I do. I appreciate everything about who he is, the crap that he's had to deal with his owner and all of that. But all that being said, I know that despite all that, there is a shortcoming that I don't think he'll ever overcome. And why should I have to deal with these continued shortcomings? Because I feel sorry for the situation that he found himself.
How is anybody else going to deal with the shortcomings or overcome those things without Dak on the team? How is CD going to be better without Dak on the team? How is Micah and the defense going to be better without Dak on the team? I'm not
willing to find out.
For signing Dak simply because he's an extension of somebody else. I'm advocating for signing Dak because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But you're purposefully saying I'm going to make my team worse
in the short
just
term.
to see what happens.
In the short term, but it is a plan in that I know that the best that when you know something is as good as it's going to get, you either say, "Oh, that's great, let's ride that."
That's such a platitude to speak in. You cannot say that. That's such an empty. That is a meaningless statement to say, "Oh, it's as good as it's going to get." In what measurable way can you?
Because I think he will consistently be hamstrung by the organization that he's attached to, and I need to find somebody that can overcome the organization that I have. Because
nobody's overcome the organization.
Kansas City found a Pat Mahomes, and as long as I'm not looking, I ain't going to find it. And
I think that you're chasing your tail and you're doing it out of frustration. And I don't blame you for being frustrated and mad and angry and sad and going through the 5 stages of grief as it relates to the Cowboys and the situation that they put all of us in.
I've come to the realization this isn't grief. I just see that the end is not. It's over. We did it. We did the best we could, and it didn't work. This offensive line that we had has been squandered. The momentum that the defensive turnovers we had has been squandered. It just didn't happen.
I, again, find it just incredible that all of these sins are only attributed to Dak Prescott.
No, it's not just Dak, but he is the front
You
center
started this
thing
by
to
saying
fix.
CeeDee's the guy that I'd be talking to. I love CeeDee. To be very clear, I'd pay CeeDee too. But we're willing to overlook the fact that he pouted during the most important game of the season. We're willing to overlook the fact that he's a part of the culture that we have a problem with going on all these podcasts and talking about, et cetera, et cetera.
You're right.
Same thing for Micah. Micah Parsons gave more effort in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game than he did the most important game of the season. And we're here lining up. We're salivating at the opportunity to pay him so he could talk about it on his podcast, which is a part of the overall culture. And we're sitting here, the guy who's been quiet, the guy who has been consistent the longest of anybody outside of Tyron Smith. We're like, that dude sucks. And we don't even know. And we're actually pretty confident that it's going to be worse without him. But we just want to do something because we're angry. So let's get rid of him so we can feel something for these next 5 minutes. You're paying attention to the short term as opposed to the long term.
All logical and sensible reasonings to not do it. And with all of that, RJ, I'm still like, yeah, but. And I don't know how a lot of Cowboy fan is ever going to get over that. Everything you said is right, but here I sit, and I see no hope. What do you guys think? 656-3776. 656-ESPN is the best way to get it off your chest. You can talk about it. You can type it. Either way, have we come up to this point? I mean, have we finally made it to the point where I'm ready to try something else? And as we talk about the Cowboys, do we need to highlight what Dalton Schultz talks about his brand new team? What is Houston doing that maybe the Cowboys could emulate inside the building that can get things going? Dalton told us. We just got to pay attention to it. We'll look there and around the rest of the NFL next. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, everybody's still talking about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott's contract. Will it take until August to get something done? We'll talk to John Machota from The Athletic at 5:15.
Plus, we'll react to what we saw from the Wemby-less Spurs last night in Sacramento. It's a Friday. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Last week after the show, a gentleman contacted Gigi and wants her to do some voiceover work at a barbecue restaurant at 2 o'clock on Sunday. I said, Gigi, you're not going to go meet a stranger at 2 o'clock at a barbecue place.
I think it's fine.
No, it's not.
He is going to feed her, and she is going to show up. I know her.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
We wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance. And insurance never goes flat. Learn more then name your price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all Quarter Moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743458.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back. My emotions are stable and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from the Blitz on this Football is Friday. We're still talking a lot of football, a lot of Dallas Cowboys. John Machota from The Athletic will join us at 5:15. Plus, we'll talk about the Wembley Spurs and how they did last night in Sacktown. The Blitz starts at 2. Rob, RJ, you boys enjoy your weekend.
We will. Welcome on to San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, we're playing golf in just a couple of weeks, and we want you to play with us. It's at the Golf Club of Texas, our favorite course in San Antonio. Come play with us on the 25th, but to do so, you need to get yourself signed up today. I haven't talked to our promotions director, Nick, but I know we're down to like 4 teams. So it doesn't mean you have to sign up as a team. If you want to play, you can sign up individually. We'll find you a spot. But you need to get yourself.
Stagged.
Yeah. Sorry.
That was a lot of hair.
It was, man. I've been running up and down the halls here for a second. We heard from Dalton Schultz, who confirmed what everybody already knew about the Dallas Cowboys culture. And we were comparing. Well, I mean, we spent all week talking about what the Cowboys do, but I think what got lost was what Dalton Schultz was talking about with the Texans, because there's no better example of what a team can do in a very short amount of time inside the locker room and out. But certainly talent acquisition plays a huge role in that, but you do have to formulate an organization that is all pointed in one direction to go win football games. What do we got to do to win football games? And the Texans, in a matter of 2.5, 3 years, radically changed the direction of the franchise. Keep in mind, this was a franchise that for about a year was run by a former team chaplain. And I don't know, I don't want to defame the man whether he was qualified or not, but that's where they were. And now we're looking at a team that, was helped certainly by, savvy drafting and talent acquisition, but they now have this momentum that D'Amico brought that you can see carrying forward regardless of who the players are.
So the only thing I disagree with that you said was that they turned things around over the course of 2 to 3 years. And I would argue that that's inaccurate because it really happened over the course of a single year.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I say that because it speaks to how impressive it was, obviously, for D'Amico. And some of that is luck. Like some of all success in life is luck. If the Carolina Panthers draft C.J. Stroud, and the Houston Texans wind up with Bryce Young, maybe he's just as great. Maybe he's just as awful. If he's just as awful, then we're killing the Texans for having won the final game of the 2022 regular season and putting themselves out of the C.J. Stroud sweepstakes, right? Like, I mean, they really peed into the win in winning that game and losing the number 1 overall pick and then getting the better player as a result of it all. If Will Anderson hadn't, turned in, he kind of flies under the radar in all of this. I mean, we would be killing that trade, right? Like, we would be saying you were too greedy. You should have been, chill, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If the Browns had been, better, or if they had lost that game, we'd be saying you should have traded, that pick, to the Arizona Cardinals, where they caught a lot of luck, and they made their own luck in a lot of ways. But they are a very underrated team even still. So they have a chance to serve as a would-be challenger in the AFC.
And the most obvious reason is D'Amico Ryans, but there's more to it. I mean, there's more to just one guy, or is it? What is the primary thing that you saw that Houston did, apart from draft a phenomenal quarterback and a phenomenal defender to kind of help things out, that they did to kind of get things the ball rolling in the right direction? Was it just D'Amico and the force of will and the energy that he brought, or was it the restructuring of the front office? Was it maybe some of the old guys were holding them back that we thought weren't? But this is such a radically different team, and it's not just luck.
So it's important to note that they beat the Buccaneers by a single possession. And I don't say any of this to poke holes. They beat the Bengals by a single possession. They beat the Cardinals by a single possession. They beat the Broncos by a single possession. They beat the Titans by a single possession in the Oilers uniform game. They beat the Colts by a single possession, that final game of the regular season, which wound up being what won them the AFC South. That's 6 games that they won by 1 possession. They were on the right side of that coin landing 6 different times. Again, in just the wins. The Jaguars also collapsed, down the stretch. And that, again, isn't to take away from them. I think what they did was they took advantage of these things. They took advantage of the low-hanging fruit. A lot of people are, they're too pretentious or whatever, and they don't pluck that because they believe in doing things a different way. The Texans say, hey, you want to make this easier on us? We will totally walk through that open door. We will totally, accept, the low-hanging fruit, whether that's literal, check down options or whatever. They made life easier for themselves. They made life easier for CJ Stroud. They made life easier for their defense. Obviously, D'Amico Ryans is a big part of that. That is something that is so underrated in coaching, is keeping things in front of you, especially when you have a young team. I know they have had some older players like Robert Woods who inflated their average age, but these are a lot of young players, and they made things, again, when you say that they diluted things, there's such a negative connotation to that. Like, oh, you diluted it because you didn't understand it. They diluted it because they needed to process so much information so quickly because everything was so new. That is a skill, and they really did it to an incredible degree.
And I don't want to give them too much props. They were playing on an easy schedule. We'll see about this team next year when they start playing teams that are as talented and on the rise as they are on a more regular basis. But what they did was such a radical culture shift that you wonder, what could the Cowboys do? So if you think of what Schultz said, like having people watching you on the workouts, do you think that if there was a tweak to just those little things, that maybe there was a much more definite separation between the team of the Dallas Cowboys and the organization that is the Dallas Cowboys franchise? Do you think that if Jerry said, okay, I'm hearing you guys, no more tours, and we'll keep you guys, we'll give you a separate exit, and we will, keep family business inside the family, and I will promise to do my very best to kind of only offer my Thursday, Friday, and Sunday press conferences instead of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday press conferences. What if he came and attempted to dial things back? Do you think that would matter? Because I say no.
I don't think it would. It is important, and Dalton Schultz's point about the Cowboys does matter. But the fact that Dalton Schultz said these words as a newly, paid member of the Texans is the most important part of the Texans here. The culture matters, right? But like every player, we've talked about this, this past week. While it is an issue, every player said it's an issue. You just deal with it while it's happening. I don't think anybody's saying the Cowboys lost to the Packers because of people ogling them in the weight room or whatever.
Right.
But I maintain that Dalton Schultz is one of the better tight ends in the NFL. You believe he's overpaid because you hate him for whatever reason. I don't know what vendetta you have against him. But he might be over. Like, living in the hypothetical where he's overpaid, what makes the Texans different, the thing that they do and that a lot of NFL teams do that the Cowboys don't, is they have looked at their situation and their status and have said, okay, CJ Stroud is entering year 2 of his rookie contract. Let's overpay. Like, we are totally down to overpay whoever we have to put as much talent around him as humanly possible. And that goes back once again to the low-hanging fruit. Let's make life as easy as possible so that CJ, while he's capable of being our hero and capable of carrying us, we don't need 17 weeks of him trying to play hero
I want you to
ball for
apply
us.
what you just said to yourself. I want you to be Steven. What should he be doing in your mind? Like with the tech. So first and foremost, Steven should be negotiating with Dak to get that deal done as fast as possible so that the next step could be had. Is that where you would say that's the fix, or no? What would be the proper thing to do here?
The Cowboys don't want to face reality with big time contracts like this, in that they have to pay the market rate, and the market rate is more than the last guy got. That is true for Dak. It is true for CD. It is true for Micah. The number just is larger for Dak. Nobody is going to be, bluffed into the Cowboys and all the marketing opportunities and blah, blah, blah. You have to do that. You absolutely have. So do it now. Quit wasting your time. Whatever. I know you said that you didn't buy the loyalty. You called it exocentric or whatever. But I mean, maybe it matters. Maybe there's somebody out there who will look and say, damn, they took care of their guys. They took care of CD. They took care of Micah. They will reward you. I mean, and I don't want to say it's just money, because it's the salary cap and you have to obviously live within it, but you can live within it. You have to be obsessed with manipulating the salary cap and working to your advantage. How many players are entering the final year of their deal in 2024 with teams that you can trade for and then flip into a compensatory pick next year? They did a wonderful job last year of that with Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks, which is why we clapped and gave them their flowers. But guess what? Because you did it one time doesn't mean the clock resets and you don't do it for 5 more years. You have to always be dissatisfied. You have to always be looking, and you have to be willing to overpay. You cannot have a roster full of bargains. I don't, and if you're searching for bargains somewhere, theoretically, it's because you're going to overpay somewhere else. If you're going to nickel and dime Dak, and you're going to nickel and dime CD, and you're going to nickel and dime Micah, where is the person you're overpaying? Who are you? Like, why you can't have a complete locker room full of bargains? And the Texans right now, like efficiently operated NFL teams, understand that. Dalton Schultz, once again, likely overpaid. That's not to say that it was the wrong move. It's to say it's the right move to take advantage of the ample amount of salary cap space they have right now. That is something the Cowboys did not do when Dak was on their rookie contract, and they have not understood that philosophy. For all the praise we sing about the Joneses and how great they are and how much money they make and how brilliant businessmen they are, they do not have a shred of understanding about how the salary cap business of the NFL works. They can make the actual money that lines their pocketbooks, but as far as manipulating and dancing along these lines and flying through the laser, force field or whatever, they cannot do that the same way that Howie Roseman or that Nick Caserio can. I mean, think about it. Like, Nick Caserio understands this on a level that Stephen Jones doesn't, and Nick Caserio a year ago was the butt of every joke across the NFL.
Now, this isn't in defense of the Cowboys, but they did do something today to kind of aid in what's coming up next week.
I mean, they created $13 million in salary cap space.
Well, a million here, a million there. Well, now we're talking serious money.
Well, they're technically under the salary cap now. Like what you're saying, like the equivalent of what we're saying is like, okay. I mean, actually, the scene in The Office where they start the Michael Scott Paper Company and Michael's really overwhelmed. And Pam says, let's just
solve one problem. Yeah.
Let's just get dressed. And then Michael gets dressed and she's like, yay, good. Like he's a 5-year-old. That's what the Cowboys did. They literally put on pants. They're literally now eligible to be an NFL team next year. That's all they've accomplished today.
And one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is when you hear that the Cowboys and Zach Martin are going to restructure the deal to provide the Cowboys more space. The intent, I always assumed that they had called Zach and said, hey, man, can we get a little bit here and we'll give you something there? No, that's not how this works. The Cowboys can do the accounting themselves. They just told Zach, hey, do you mind? We're going to go ahead and change the way we're going to pay you. You're still going to get it all. It's just the way we're going to give it to you, at least by our books. So how much did Zach have to play? I mean, any at all?
Nothing. So this tweet just came out from from Todd Archer, like literally like 30 seconds ago. The Cowboys have reworked Zach Martin's contract to open up about $13 million in cap space this year. Cool. But also altered the future years of his deal that would help lessen the impact against the 2025 salary cap if this is his final year. Now, remember, Zach Martin held out. They redid a 2-year deal. This is the second year of that 2-year deal. So it's possible that he's gone, he retires. And that's the thing, man. So you're over here like, like skipping and lollygagging around like, I'll just cut Dak because I'm in a mood today. All right, you might be facing a proposition next year where Zach Martin's gone and your Terrence Steele is gone and you have only Tyler Smith along your offensive line. So who is the quarterback that you're signing up to, take advantage of that ripe opportunity? I mean, this team needs Dak beyond what anybody is willing to accept or to admit. And they have to be the first ones to come to understanding, because as long as they don't, they're hindering their ability to put talent around.
We'll address this in the next hour, because my retort to that would be, if Zach Martin's calling, why the hell am I paying Dak all that kind of money? He's going to get killed.
They're flirting with disaster. They're effing around, and they might be about to find out.
Find out. You want to find out what Roger Clemens thinks about Dak Prescott, which was surprising. It really was. Well, Roger sat down with RJ. I got to listen, and a great one that we're going to have at 9:30. Películas Fantásticos, the Spurs collapse, and the Rocket. That's all coming your way. And the only way you get to enjoy it live is to stay right here. You're on 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with Robin RJ.
Okay, Camper, rise and shine.
Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
If you've been thinking about buying a new car or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, think Ancira.com. Browse through thousands of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and RVs. Shop for your next new Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Buick, or GMC. Or if you're looking for an import, we have a huge selection of Kias, VWs, and Nissans. Or for your home away from home, a full line of RVs and campers. And you'll always get the lowest Ancira price, in-store or online at Ancira.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Hi, everybody. It's Joe Reinagel. You know, now is a great time of year to get your roof inspected and ready for our crazy spring weather. Be it hot, cold, rain, or hail. Who knows what Mother Nature has in store for us this year? Call Stevens Roofing at 210-785-0994. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. A quality roof overhead means comfort, confidence, and certainly peace of mind. Now is the time to get your roof ready for spring. Call Stevens Roofing at 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs lost last night to the Sacramento Kings on the road. In the loss, Devin Vassell led them with 30 points. Domantas Sabonis had 31 and 17 in the 131-129 victory. In college hoops, regular season winds down, and Texas ends their Big 12 regular season run, welcoming in OU to the Moody Center. Tip at 1 o'clock Saturday.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Wembanyama three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
Drive. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
He is RJ Ochoa, managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson, sitting comfortably in a seat that will not adjust. And on the other side, the double pane is Easy-E Edwin Hefner. Welcome to Friday, guys. We got a full weekend. We just talked about it in the Sports Center. It's going to be a good basketball weekend. The ladies are playing in the tourneys around the country. You get to get another Caitlin Clark viewing tomorrow as the Big Ten tournament in play. The whole world will be watching that. We got 4 of the non-Power 5 conference championships starting this weekend. We got tourney time going on all next weekend. We will have Selection Sunday very quickly. And before you know it, in just about a little over a year, Final Four will be right here in San Antonio. We'll be on the clock in just a couple of weeks, welcoming everybody back.
That's right. Come on down.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things. It's taken me a little while to kind of shake off football. You know, I'm still, kind of in it, but now we're on the business side. I'm ready for exciting sports again. And some of, the NBA stuff's been a little dull over the last couple of weeks. But tune into some conference tourney action. One and done, do or die, win in advance, survive in advance.
I think that this week has been a nice, like Indiana Jones taking the one idol off and putting the bag of dirt or whatever on. You know what I'm saying? Like, except this isn't a bag of dirt. This is an actual other idol. It's like we get Celtics Nuggets. Cool. You know what I mean? Kind of interesting, spicy little finish. We get Spurs setting NBA history, which was super awesome.
Let's talk. Well, first of all, this is the order of events. Let's talk some Spurs. You had an opportunity to interview the Rockets yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I did too, but I stumbled and fell as you carried on in the race. We're gonna play what is very obviously a recorded interview from yesterday afternoon, and it's coming in here in about 10 minutes. They reached out to his people, Roger's people, reached out to your people, and it was one of those things where you don't say no. When Clemens called, you're like, yeah, we're going to do this. So we were excited. I've interviewed, I take great pride in the length and breadth of the people that I've had the great opportunity to speak with over these many years. But Roger's never been one of them. So we found out this was coming. I couldn't wait. But due to some extenuating circumstances, I could not get completely prepared for the interview. So I think literally I'm setting up this satellite link 3000 thing that we've got, which is nothing. I'm kidding. My microphone wouldn't work just as the interview began. And, Mr. Clemens was in the car wash. He only had 15 minutes. So RJ had to just carry on without. And it was a phenomenal interview. You don't want to miss any of it. And that's coming in just a couple of minutes.
It felt like we all agreed to go skydiving, like you, Roger, and I. We're on the plane and it's like, let's go. And so, Roger and I have our parachutes on, and we're about to jump out, and they're like, "Hey, Rob, where's your chute?" And you're like, "Oh,
no." Let's see. And that's how you saw it. My vision of that was the other side. So this is what I felt like. We had all already jumped out of the plane, so we're all falling at the same speed. We all pull for our parachutes. Yours guys deploy, and it always looks like those guys put on the brakes or whatever. So you guys, I just lost y'all. I was gone. You guys stopped, and I went. And all I could do is my vision that will haunt me is on our StreamYard feed. He couldn't hear me, and I could just see him like, Roger, hey, and he waved back, and things went black.
You had the like emergency little one that keeps you alive, but you had the like crash landing. Again,
I broke a couple of legs, but I'm still here.
It was
but I survived, much like the Spurs last night.
Good times. The Spurs did not survive last night. I don't know what you're talking about.
The record did. The
record didn't survive. The record thrived, but the Spurs themselves, goodness gracious, I mean, embarrassing. Embarrassing. And if you try to put lipstick on this pig, I'm gonna throw you out the plane again.
I'm gonna put some lipstick on what was a valiant defeat.
Boring.
Because
cool.
I mean, the easy excuse is they did it without Wimby. That's the easy.
This was not a valiant defeat. This was a gift that they threw back. This was the old woman at the end of Titanic throwing the super valuable necklace into the ocean.
And I will give you that next year when we're really trying. I'll give you that from here on out. But this year, there are a lot of goals in place, and winning is not the primary one. So let's give flowers and be angry all at the same time, because it was a stupidity that lost the game. It was above the neck. What the hell are you kind of doing? Turnover at the worst possible time on a night when they kind of held their turnovers in check, but when they did, it mattered. So there was that. But minus Wimby, in the face of a yet another double-double from Domantas Sabonis, in the face of as good a quarter as De'Aaron Fox can play, the Spurs were one turnover and a dunk away from, at the very least, taking it to overtime. Not buying it?
Dude. No. I mean, in fact, the fact that it got tied at the end was embarrassing enough. And it seemed like, okay, they're going to have a chance here for a buzzer beater, you know what I mean, to kind of blow this whole thing up and save, because you could feel the Kings crowd just kind of coming back in this, and just it was like, oh man, it must be nice to get another win, along your ride to the playoffs, and as you're fighting for legitimacy in the NBA this year. And it just felt like, all right, they're going to have a chance. We might get this amazing buzzer beater win that would have been dramatic with no Wimby as they set the record, and nope, they just threw it away.
Post-game, Pop talked about it. They had a good assist game, and we'll tell you why that mattered, but it was the mistakes that killed them.
We've had a lot of nights where we've had great showings assist-wise, but, we still make too many young mental errors that cost us when we're, in a close game, that kind of thing. So they just keep on plugging.
Pop post-game after the 131-129 loss.
It's so weird they make so many young mental errors, given that they have nothing but young players who have no idea what they're doing. What a weird result, as a response to the situation that they built and designed themselves. This was not predictable at all.
They played in brown, but they walked away with gold as they broke a record. They broke
much like Homer Hanna High School, baby. Brown and gold, let's go.
Yeah, the Spurs wore their city edition to break a record that's been in place for about 40 years now, a little under that. It's been since 84-85 Lakers, the Showtime years, that a team has gone more than 120 games, averaging 20 or more assists. The Spurs shattered that last night, going to 121 and offered 39 assists. That's a ridiculous number on its face.
Not averaging, having 20 or more assists in a game. So they have now gone 121 games in a row with 20 or more assists. You're right, 39 is exception. Not even exception. It's a lot, but so it won't be 39. But I don't know how this stops. So this is really normal now. This could reach 1,000 as far as I'm concerned.
It's the silliest stat that you try to apply to success.
Rob. How dare you?
in
How
history.
dare you.
And until the Spurs did it, it was a great argument. If you were a coach like, look at the teams that shared the ball. The Lakers and the Pistons, all of them wearing rings. See? Now, coach, but what about them Spurs?
Well, just know that the night that the Spurs broke the record, they were valiant in defeat in their horrible brown uniforms against the Kings. They had the most inexplicable, unbelievable, head-scratching turnover at the very end to allow a. Think about it, Rob. How many times is there a game-winning dunk?
Well, it was appropriate.
You have to be so bad and so incompetent that you have a steal off of a turnover that leads to a game-sealing dunk. Not a shot, not a buzzer beater, a dunk.
The appropriate finish as we watch Sacramento. They do go down. They get Golden State. We do know that Wemby has been by every measure by Pop. He will not play in California again this year. He's been forbidden by the Spurs to set foot on a basketball court for the rest of the regular season in the state of California as they wind down. This is their last West Coast run. He won't play till they get home again. He's dealing with a right ankle. The interview that I didn't get to participate in, but you can, is coming around the corner. Roger Clemens, the Rocket, joins RJ Ochoa next. You're not going to want to miss this because, there's some baseball in there, but did you know he's a Cowboy fan? And wait till you hear what he has to say about Dak. It's worth the wait. That's coming next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Presented by Sierra Auto Group. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill on the corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch, 10 minutes from Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Joe Reinagel here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Back here on the Morning Huddle, my name is RJ Ochoa, and I am joined by one of the very best to ever do it in any walk of life, one of the most talented athletes in a lot of sports, really, and I have a lot of questions to get to him with. It is the one and only Roger Clemens. Roger, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on San Antonio Sports Star.
You got it, brother. My pleasure.
So you were telling me that you had some questions about the Dallas Cowboys. I have a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to give you the floor. What did you want to get into relative to the Dallas Cowboys?
Absolutely. So full disclosure. So let's just go through so first of all, my wife, her family, she was born in Arlington, and she actually did a little of the Cowboy cheerleading stuff, had a good time doing it. So my oldest son, Kobe, he's a Cowboys fan. My number 2 son, Corey, I did a commercial in Tampa Bay at the stadium way back when, and they gave him a bunch of Buccaneers stuff, so he's a Bucs fan. Number 3, Casey, he's a Cowboys fan. My youngest one, who's playing for the Phillies still, he's a cheesehead. I did a commercial there at Lambeau when he was little, and they brainwashed him. And then, of course, I was a Raiders fan forever. And then I met I had to do a jersey swap with Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins when they came in town. So now I'm kind of rooting for the Dolphins too, even though I root for our Texans at home too. I really root for a bunch of dudes because I got a bunch of friends on a number of different, so I'm kind of all over the place. I root for my friends to do well when on there. But man, I can't hardly bring up Dak's name at the house right now, man. It's like, I go, what are y'all doing? This dude can play. They're like, oh, Dad, man. I go, and then I saw that the Twitter and all the stuff from family member stuff. I said, what the heck's going on? So anyway, I hope they do well. I hope he does well. I'm a fan of his. I think his heart's in the right place. And I think it's just friggin' tough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, let alone. So, but yeah, I got word that you were a Cowboys fan right before we came on the air.
So I just so much cool stuff to get into. Obviously, we don't have the time for all of it, but I got to be honest with you, Roger. Whenever we talk to or I talk to different athletes and interview them, they come in, they parachute in, and they're not fans of. You brought up Dak. A lot of people are. I mean, you know how it is. And so it's kind of refreshing. I mean, Roger Clemens, obviously all-time dude in my mind, but you kind of went up a notch, if I'm being honest. So you're a fan of Dak. You want them to bring him back. You want to see an extension. You want to see him a part of the team for a long time, as I understand it.
Yeah, I think you got to give him another go. I don't know how long you lock him in for, but I think you got to give him another go. They got a really good, their defense is getting better. He's got some weapons out there, but if they are not together in the locker room, you got no chance. I mean, I can tell you that's in any sport. If guys aren't on board with one of your main stars, your main leaders, that's definitely a problem, as you know. So, and again, I've talked about it many times. In our sport, in Major League Baseball, it's really cool that you can hit the ball 400 feet or do this or throw 95, 98 miles an hour. That's great during the season. When you get to late September and October, you better have 2 frontline guys that can throw it and command it and be pitchers, not throwers. And you better have some guys that aren't allergic to leather out there behind you. They better be able to catch it. And same thing in the NFL. You better have a defense. If you're going to get deep into the playoffs, you got to have a defense. If your guy can throw it, you got Mahomes, guys like this that are, a different breed mentally, which is what they are. Physically, they all have it. I mean, I don't think you'd be a quarterback in the NFL physically if you weren't ready. And you have control over that. Mentally, you have to crush people. You have to be unflappable. And the same thing in the NBA. I told them I'm not really a big fan of the NBA during the regular season because they don't play defense. You get 35, you got your 35, yeah. You got your 38, yeah. Then they play defense the last 5 minutes of the game. When playoffs come, they in your face. They're giving hard fouls. I enjoy watching the NBA come playoff time because guys, they're playing for keeps and they get in each other's face. So, again, Dak, I understand that, but I think he's got a team unless, again, they're not together behind the scenes, which we don't see. Again, I'm just like you. I'm on the outside looking in on that. I'm not in the locker room. they better be getting along.
Wow. Roger Clemens, the GOAT. Of all the things that I envisioned in my life talking to you about, I never would have thought that we would have gone down this path. But lo and behold, here we are. You're with us on behalf of the Color Classic. I have some questions about that as well. But you know better than really most human beings about, you kind of outlined pressure and what comes with that. There's a really isolating feeling to being a pitcher, obviously, and you mentioned September, October. That's a similar feeling, obviously, to what Dak Prescott experiences. It has, I think, as somebody who's gone through it, you have to believe that there are just people out there who are, kind of made to do that. And you can't teach things like that. Whether it's Dak or Mahomes, obviously, is a great example of that. But do you believe that is something that can be harnessed, that can be trained, that can, be developed over time? Or is that simply something that it's a pass-fail proposition? You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, well, what I believe in is those players you're talking about, you make people around you better, and you elevate their game. And that's what you do. I mean, again, I went through 3 transitions. Physically, I got you. It's my fault if I'm not in shape. So all those miles that you don't see that I'm running on a AAA field or around the stadium at night, and I'm getting my miles in, that's one thing. Then the mental part of the game, which I think is the most important thing, because everybody's good at that level. Everybody can hit, everybody can run, everybody throws hard, blah, blah, blah. Mentally, I think you got to, again, be unflappable. And then last transition, emotions. You play on emotions sometimes. My arm will be underwater. I'm not throwing hard. I'm not commanding the strike zone. So I might think about my mom that, with her sickness she went through, my grandmother, stuff like that, and try and take me to another level emotionally. Now, in 24 years, I've showed my backside a couple of times out there because I pitch with a football mentality sometimes. And but that's who I am as a person. You got to know my background. My dad passed away when I was 9. My mom raised 6 of us. She worked 3 jobs so I could have a badass glove and a sweet pair of cleats. And she always taught me, just like my grandmother. My grandmother said famously, if you're a ditch digger, be the best damn ditch digger in the country. And that's anybody that, like yourself, that loves your work, loves what you do. I can hear it in your voice. I can see the passion and you enjoy what you do. So there's some other guys that, they experience a little bit of failure and they're done. I mean,
right.
you never hear from them again. So all that figures into it. I mean, that's, again, it's your mindset and how you go about your work. And but I loved what I did for 24 years. I don't miss it. It was a lot of work. Had some wonderful teammates. I still get on my milestone 300 game win night or 20 strikeout game or whatever. I get great texts from all my catchers and different teammates. That's what means the most to me. And I see those guys with the work that I do now. So the work that I do with the Astros or the different teams, go down and visit with guys, I enjoy doing it.
Great advice, just really for any walk of life, from the GOAT, Roger Clemens. Very cool that you kind of get to relive those things on, different anniversaries or whatever. And I think those of us who imagine life as professional athletes, you hope that would be the case, obviously. So it's awesome that you obviously have that going on in your life. You mentioned the work that you do now. Golf is kind of a sport that, encompasses all of the things that, we've kind of talked about so far. It's a really isolating game in a lot of ways. You think about the mental fortitude necessary from players on the tour, whatever, tour that is these days. But you're having some fun out with the Color Guard Classic, as I talked about. Can you tell us a little bit, because this is an incredible cause that you're obviously working in partnership with right now?
Well, you're right. It's an incredible cause. Color Guard does a great job bringing awareness. And like I said, we were talking to some of the guys at the dinner last night. I didn't realize how high of a success rate, 90% success rate if you catch it early. I was fortunate the last two days here in the Pro-Am to play with some cancer survivors and hear their story. It's pretty remarkable. And we're out there on the golf course enjoying, like I told them, it's Wednesday or Thursday. We're out here playing golf. We're upright. We're on the right side of the grass. Congratulations on that. I love the game of golf. I've been playing it for a long time. Obviously, golf for amateurs like myself, better days than others. But I get to come out too, and like Jerry Kelly, spokesperson for Cologuard and Exact Sciences, heard from their people of what they've been able to do, and this event's incredible for the Champions Tour. I don't know that there's one that's really any bigger. All the staff and the people behind the scenes that I've met, they they go above and beyond. I mean, it's just a great event. So when they asked me to pop over here and play in the event again, I did. Like I said, I played it like 3 years ago, and it means a lot to me. I mean, I have the Roger Clemens Foundation. We help at-risk kids, underprivileged children. So we get to see those guys out here. But again, the game of golf is something that I enjoy. I've met far more business opportunities through the game of golf than I ever playing Major League Baseball, playing with businessmen out here and stuff. So thank you for mentioning it. They do a great job, and we love Cologuard and Exact Sciences. They do a heck of a job out here.
Oh, no problem at all. You guys are out at La Paloma Country Club in Tucson right now. CologuardClassic.com, where people can learn more information. I saw you mentioned Twitter. I saw you hanging out with Justin Leonard. There's not a lot of dudes who sank a putt for their country, and Justin Leonard's up there. So
he's a Longhorn, baby.
Well,
that
Roger,
bird is fine. Well, and I see your golf shirt on. I'm glad to find my hometown colors.
Right. So, I didn't want to, mess things up. I do want to offer. I am a fighting Texas Aggies. That's the only place where you and we differ a little bit.
Listen, now we got to fight again because we're in the SEC. Before I could root for y'all just to beat Alabama.
Right, exactly. Great night a couple of nights ago, actually, with the boys in maroon coming out on the right side of things on the diamond. Yeah. And I would be remiss if I can't believe I haven't talked to Roger Clemens about baseball at this point in time. I am wearing a Houston Astros polo right now. That is my team of choice. We have a lot of Astros and Rangers listeners here in San Antonio. Your thoughts as we get closer and closer to opening day? Obviously, it was a contentious ALCS last year with all the road teams winning. It was super fun. The Jose Altuve Game 5 happened on my birthday, so just a really powerful memory. I can't wait for the season to get here. But what do you make of the Astros and Rangers' chances as we get ready for 2024?
Well, first of all, I'd say that we've been spoiled in Houston over the last 7 years.
Totally.
What Mr. Crane and his staff is, what they brought to Minute Maid and for the fans in Houston, and we're spoiled really in the state of Texas now with the Rangers winning and Boch doing his thing. Great manager. And what a great time to be a baseball fan in the state of Texas. So we get spoiled in Houston. These guys, I could go all the way back to when I was retired and came out of retirement to pitch 3 years at home in Houston. I mean, what a treat for me, driving 20 minutes to work, being able to sleep in my own bed, getting somebody, going to work with Bagwell and Biggio and getting them to the World Series and really flipping a football town to a baseball town.
Right.
And now to have, we had to endure 3 years of 100 losses and then to come to where the team is now with 2 world championships and winning like they have over 7 years. It's been incredible, that run of championship years. So just a lot of fun. I enjoy working with the team, doing some work with the Astros Foundation, what they do for my foundation. Very appreciative of that. So just a lot going on and a lot of fun. Going to bounce down to spring training next week. We'll bounce into Phillies camp to watch my youngest one who's with the Phillies and visit with some of the young pitchers. They're trying to learn a couple new pitches. We're going to show some guys some new pitches and we'll see what happens.
The Astros, one thing I love about them, besides the fact that they're my team of choice, is great people, great organization, and it all kind of feels like it's always in the family. I think you're a great example of that in our current moment. There aren't a lot of teams like that in sports where I don't even want to say alumni, but just when you come through, you're always a part of it, and it feels you can sense that from far away, and you're certainly kind of a walking testament to that.
Yeah, when the guys asked me to bounce in to visit with some of the guys, I love doing it. I was one of those guys, one of those young pitchers, whether it be Hunter Brown or even JV sending me a video of his bullpen way back when of a couple things he was working on in his side work. So I love doing it. I'm very appreciative, thankful they asked. I was one of those guys. I watched Nolan Ryan when I was growing up. I got the opportunity to play with what I consider the ultimate power pitcher of all time, Tom Seaver. Tom Terrific was my teammate in Boston for a couple months, so I got to visit with him one-on-one, and so just really cool stuff.
Well, be on the lookout for texts from Josh Hader now, Mr. Clemens, because you got a lot of opportunities for cool text messages. Astros pitchers are concerned. Roger Clemens with us here on the Morning Huddle on behalf of Cologuard, CologuardClassic.com. To get more information about Cologuard Classic and by Exact Sciences. Roger Clemens, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy all of baseball season if we don't talk to you. And can you guarantee the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl, please?
Yeah, and in the background, I expect to see a Dak Prescott bobblehead in the background on your shelves next time.
You know what? I'll get one of those and a Roger Clemens one. You tell me which uniform you want to get.
I'll send you a Rocket Man one. You put him right front and center.
If you do it, I will.
And he doesn't shake his head no. He only says yes.
I promise you I will do it. Roger Clemens, thank you so much. Nobody go anywhere. We'll be back right here on the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hook 'em horns, baby.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Serena Williams from Pro Football Talk. The Dak contract. Jerry, I don't know, negotiating in the media. If we don't get a deal done, our plans are still going to be fine. Dak talking yesterday, confident a deal will get done. When do you think Dak Prescott will get his deal done?
Well, they need to do it sooner than later if they're going to do anything in free agency, if they're going to extend the contract of C.D. Lamb, if they're going to start talking to Micah Parsons. Having said all that, they're not going to do anything just like they never do in the first week of free agency. It's not like they have to get something done by Monday, but I would think in the next couple of weeks, they need to get moving on this thing.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Scott, you've got a question about radio stations?
Yes, I do. Back in the 80s, when JD and I guess Bobo were doing radios, why did stations sound so different, like in a car or something? Were they compressed or something like that?
Bob, cocaine.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Ink card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. This offer ends 4/14/20. Single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
San Antonio Sports Star. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Just the beginning of a full sporting day, but the end of a long sporting week. And spring breaks ahead of for a lot of folks today. Congratulations, teachers. You get a couple of days away. That always meant something in my house, though. Spring breaks lost all of its meaning around the Thompson Casa. Nobody excited about a week off. It's just going to be another week with less time in it. As don't forget, Saturday night, Sunday morning, spring forward and lose an hour of your life.
And what a bummer for people who are on spring break that they literally have one less hour.
They get one less hour all week because of that, all year, as it were.
Sucks, man. Wow.
Congratulations on a great interview there with Roger. Roger Clemens sitting in. And I want to thank you for offering the maroon perspective as you stood up for them that are right and good.
I have a question about it, if you don't mind. Do you think he was serious about sending me a bobblehead? Or do you think he was just saying that?
I think he was serious and when he said it. Now, if you ask him today if he said it, he won't remember. But when he said it, I think he had every intent.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know.
Did you notice when he said, well, there's a couple things at the end that, that I'm not going to, it was obviously recorded. You recorded it yesterday afternoon. But at the end, we allowed that hook 'em horns to stay on just at the end of I don't know who to blame for that, but I wouldn't blame you. That's an Evan thing, right?
I'm
proud of that. No, see, no, let's not go there.
That was not an RJ Ochoa decision.
I didn't think it was.
I'm not going to name names, but I can tell you that was not my choice.
But to close it out that way, just seemed just not the way to end, the way that it should have been ended.
He did flash the sign, the hand signal.
He did.
On the video. That video will be accessible on the SA Sports Star YouTube channel. So everybody go subscribe, like the video, pay the light tax, turn on the notification, the Noti gang, so that when Rob puts his fingers on his nostril, you can see him.
Did you get a chance to include me waving help and my little box of shame on the?
I would love to say yes, Rob.
Darn it. See, I have zero proof that, in fact, I did exchange at least a word or two with
you.
Roger
Have my
Clemens.
Word. What do you mean zero?
Well, I mean, you're not always going to be there as my voucher.
Yeah, I'm a phone call away.
Oh, hold on just a sec.
No,
listen to him.
Give me a second. He's not answering right now, but yeah.
Have you already made plans for Sunday evening? Because you know what that is.
What?
It is the Academy Awards.
Oh.
Do you make a big deal out of the Academy Awards? Is that something that is must watch around the Ochoa Casa?
It's definitely something that's on. And so I tell this story a lot, but it's because it's true. I love Twitter. Like I absolutely love Twitter, but I love Twitter because of tentpole events in society.
Mm-hmm.
And the Oscars is one of those things. I will never in my life ever forget La La Land improperly winning the Oscar for Best Film. And just the fallout of that on Twitter when Moonlight was given it. And then when Emma Stone said in her press conference, because she had won Best Actress, that like it was something about the envelope and everything. Like it was just incredible theater, no pun intended. So I live for these moments where we're all together experiencing it simultaneously.
Like the slap we got a couple years ago. They're going to have to outdo themselves.
How many of the movies have you seen?
None. Well, one. I've seen a few of them, but these are art house movies for the most part. I will tell you, the best movie I saw all year was Oppenheimer. That was my Películas Fantásticos. Whatever the award is, that's the best movie I saw all year.
So, what is your kind of go-to movie rating system? You
like how do I judge it?
No. Like somebody says, "Hey Rob, I think you should check out this movie." And if you told yourself, "I'm going to check out an objective third party to tell me how good this movie is,"
it's Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. I thought you were going to say it. So you're saying you check it out. You're like, "Oh, Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter's off the charts. I'm going to watch this movie." Or they corroborate that it's good or bad. Right?
For the most part. And there's a couple of movie reviewers over the years that I have gone that we kind of see things the same way that I'll trust.
So it's funny that you say this because you're saying Oppenheimer is like the GOAT, right?
For me, it
Oppenheimer.
was. Yeah.
Okay. So Rotten Tomatoes has a ranking by Tomato Meter for all of the movies that are up for Best Picture.
Uh-huh.
Okay. These are 10 films. Where do you think Oppenheimer falls on this list?
Well, it better be first, but because I'll say third, just because that's what it would be.
It is not in the top 3.
Really?
It's not even in the top 4.
So
it's number 5. Do you want to hear this list?
I'm looking at the list. And
So the Holdovers is number 1,
and I've seen that one. Strangely enough,
with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Past Lives is number 2, which is highly regarded as well. Obviously. Anatomy of a Fall is number 3. American Fiction, which is one of the screeners I got, we haven't watched it yet, is number 4. And then you got Oppenheimer at number 5. And Killers of the Flower Moon, which everybody made a big old deal about, is number 6. The Zone of Interest 7. Poor Things 8. Barbie coming in at 9. And Maestro coming in at 10.
We're not allowed to talk badly about Barbie, or you get in trouble.
Have you even seen it?
No. So I'm not
It's
gonna.
it's really, really, really good. It's great.
So I've been told, and I will at some point see it. But what happened was the only way I was ever going to actually go and pay to see it was with my wife, and she went and saw it with all dressed up and did the Barbie night. So now unless somebody's going to take me, I'm not going to just go buy my ticket. So I'll watch it eventually. Yeah, and I will. I'll watch it eventually but I'm not going to lay at home and I'm on a Saturday afternoon and flip on Barbie. It's just not.
You should.
So,
it's
maybe
really
I
funny.
should. I'm not trying to deride the movie. That's normally if I'm going to lay down and watch a movie, somebody's going to die in the first 30 seconds, and there's going to be a lot of explosions.
You could say we all died in Barbie.
Oh, that's not another reason to watch it. What's the best TV series? No, I didn't ask. What's the best movie you saw this year?
So of this list, I mean, I would say
No, it
Oppenheimer.
doesn't have to be on this list. What's the best movie you saw this year?
That I saw this year. It might be Oppenheimer. It's honestly
For me,
Oppenheimer or Barbie.
It was, and I saw a few others, and the Holdovers was good. It's low key. I like Giamatti, and I like but it was kind of like a little bit of Dead Poets Society rolled in with some other stuff. It was good. But Oppenheimer, I learned something. I didn't know a lot of what went on. And the last scene of the movie might be one of the best scenes to close a movie out of all time.
Of Oppenheimer?
Yeah. When he finds out
you could also say that about Barbie.
Well, I would like to think so. I'd like to think that's out there. Are you a limited series kind of watcher? Because there was one that in my mind, there was one in my mind that if you didn't watch this year, it's a genre thing. I mean, if you're not into the genre, you won't enjoy this. But it was it was on Amazon Prime. It was the Zoe Saldana vehicle where she was the undercover CIA agent, which the story just fell out of my brain. But by far the best limited series, I guess. I don't know if that's a limited series or not, if they're going to bring it back or not. But dramatic kind of series. I'm looking for it right now.
So I pulled up some things I watched.
Special Ops Lioness is what the
so this year last year 2023, but I guess this year since the Oscars, I had never seen Pulp Fiction, but I have watched it now. And
thoughts?
Yeah, a little overrated, but that's really my fault more than anything.
It's more a victim of the time of it was made.
It could just I mean, my entire life I've just heard like it's amazing. Nothing was ever going to be able to live up to that. So it was fine.
It was a film of the 90s too. It's a very different feel.
It didn't change my life. I saw Ratatouille this past year for the first time. I'd never seen that before. Shout out to my son.
Yes.
Also kind of overrated. Not really into it. I can tell you the worst movie I saw this year. I've mentioned this before. I'm a part of the Writers Guild, so we get screeners mailed to us, and so we get to watch them ahead of time. We watched Ferrari. Dude, that movie sucked. That movie was horrible. I mean, I watched it for free and feel robbed. I mean, it was awful.
What do you think of the guy that played him? What's his name?
Adam Driver?
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. Adam Driver, and that was why I was so excited.
I keep being told he's great and he makes great movies, but I haven't seen one yet.
He was Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and that's who he'll forever be, unfortunately, in my brain. He's like before Mark Hamill, who will forever be Luke.
He was also he was in Girls, the TV show, and he was also in was it called Scenes from a Marriage with Scarlett Johansson? Oh, no. That's the
He's made a
Jessica
bunch of
Chastain thing.
He's made a bunch of movies, but everybody keeps telling me how great he is, and I haven't.
Oh, you know what else I saw that was horrible, and so not an advocacy for it in any stretch. Although I think this is on Max as of today. The Wonka movie was awful. I mean, super boring. Just not for me. Like absolutely complete and total bore. If you have no idea what this was, we kind of didn't. We'll always like watch a trailer before we do something. We should check it out. This is about the life of Wonka.
Before.
I don't know why we call him Wonka. His first name is Willy. Like, why are we not? But it's about Wonka pre-Chocolate Factory, the time leading up to it. And goodness gracious, it was so boring. I know that Timothy Chalamet or whatever his name is like the talk of the town right now because Dune 2 is out. But goodness, this movie was boring.
And I didn't get a chance to see Dune 2, and I don't think it's up for any Oscar, but I assume it's the best movie ever made.
I mean, it won't be. It came out last week. It can't be up for an Oscar. They'll be there next year. The Iron Claw. I know you hated it, but was a really powerful movie. I don't have a deep understanding or memory, obviously, of wrestling. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but so getting that 30,000 foot perspective, which I recognize is not the whole story. It was a really, really, really powerful movie. I thought Zac Efron did a great job. I can't believe he didn't garner any nominations.
It was because of the hair.
Wow.
The worst hair in all of only other series or movie that had hair any worse than that was the Showtime series on Max. That's the only
among the best movies I saw was Barbie. Barbie was great. It was, again, you're doing yourself a disservice by not watching this.
At some point, I'm going to be very happy to have watched it and celebrated. I just haven't had the chance to get there.
Oppenheimer ruled. I mean, man, what a film, Oppenheimer.
We have
Christopher Nolan doesn't miss.
No, he really doesn't. He just doesn't miss, and that's one of those things that I'm willing to forgive some of the mistakes he's made for just the greatness that he's also given. We've talked all day about it, and we start on Monday with the beginning of the next year, the beginning of the next season with the Cowboys. We heard from Jane Slater yesterday. She's a good friend of the show and the station here. That the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are not talking. They haven't begun to talk. Well, let's hear from her. This is Jane Slater on the NFL Network yesterday, talking about the status of Dak and the Cowboys and what we can expect in the upcoming week.
No talks at all, according to a source informed. And I know that might be surprising to some folks, so I asked for a clarification on that. And I was told, look, none at all. In other words, still, I even asked, is it because there wasn't anything meaningful to report? Nope, nothing. Now, I reached out to Dak's agent, Todd France, to confirm that, and I unsurprisingly didn't get a response back. I know that it's the offseason and news as it relates to Cowboys Nuggets does particularly well, particularly when it comes to Dak. So I want to make sure to clarify this. I don't believe this to be cause for alarm. Based on how the last contract went, France plays his cards close to his vest, and Jerry Jones and the Cowboys will negotiate this through the media, as we saw a little of that with the missive from the Combine. But ultimately, this deal will likely get done. Just don't be surprised if that materializes closer to August.
So ultimately, every time you hear everybody talk about this, it's, well, ultimately, it's going to get done ultimately, but it's the time between now and ultimately that's going to doom the Cowboys.
This is playing with fire. I mean, you really want to find out, Cowboys? I mean, go ahead. Do it. I mean, a lot of people root for downfalls in situations like this to prove themselves right. Prove us all wrong. Prove us wrong, Cowboys. I mean, by all means, go ahead. But if you think an organization that does the bare minimum is willing to do the inordinate amount of work necessary to find a franchise quarterback beyond Dak Prescott, well, I've got some beachfront property in, a lot of places that I would like to sell you if that's the case.
So if August is the date, and that's not the deadline. Heck, they don't have to do anything. And the Cowboys, as we woke up this morning, have restructured Zach Martin's contract to get themselves under the cap. So they've done the bare minimum to step into the free agency period. We're starting to see other trends arise, and there are some things there are some guys available in the free agency market that could help the Cowboys. but they're not going to have any money to spend. As they sit right now, they've extricated some money off the red and now in the black. They were like $3 million under the cap after they redid Zach Martin's deal. Is that where we sit?
Yeah, so the Cowboys are finally in the black. They can finally, process themselves into the 2024 league year beginning next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central. But they have a lot of work to do if they want to add players to their roster. And I would brace yourself if you think that is coming around the bend. They're not. I mean, and if you hoping is up to you at this point. I'm not going to advise you to hope, because they've gone out of their way over the last 10 days to walk back the all-in claim. And if you are just maybe, that's at your own risk, and you'll be disappointed because they are telling you who they are. They have to be in compliance with the salary cap. That's why they have to be, beneath it, obviously. Jane Slater is the Christopher Nolan of Dallas Cowboys news and nuggets. She does not miss. And if she's telling you that the extension is probably not going to come until August, I would also offer that suggests that they have no real desire to do much relative to free agency next week. Their thought process, their philosophy is that we don't need free agents. We'll just build through the draft. And that's sound, but you can do both.
This wasn't talked about much this week, but Mike Pittman, the wide receiver with the Colts, was franchised with a non-exclusive tag that's going to pay him $21.8 million. What does that do to the rest of the mid-level wide receiver market?
I mean, I suppose that if you're somebody who's in his neck of the woods from a production standpoint, you can demand that. Maybe T. Higgins also was tagged, but I think it's a unique situation.
Okay.
I mean, because they have Anthony Richardson on a rookie contract, they want to keep him around. I bet they probably don't even get an extension done. I mean, they probably just ride out the tag this year, and that's unfortunate for Michael Pittman Jr. That's why the franchise tag is so difficult for a lot of players. But the wide receiver market is robust. There are so many wide receivers, and there are so many in the draft.
Yeah,
there's going to be like 10 or 11 wide receivers who go in the first round.
That's why I found it odd. Why would you franchise Pittman when there's so much talent that's going to drive that market down? I felt like
because you can, because you have the funds. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the quarterback on the rookie contract. Now it's like we talked about with Dalton Schultz and the Texans. Now is the time to overpay.
Well said.
It is
exactly.
It is a bit of an overpay, but you've got a surplus of cash right now because of your quarterback contract. So do everything you can to help him. What a weird and crazy idea, Dallas Cowboys.
Do you think Russell and the Steelers are going to come to an agreement over the weekend, and he'll be a nice bridge there?
Well, there was a little report when our Roger Clemens interview was going on here that Russell stopped by to chat with the New York Football Giants. That's interesting.
Can we pray? Can we all gather together and light a candle that we have both Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers as the quarterbacks of the franchises inside the greater metropolitan area? Can we just pray for one brief moment that this does in fact come to pass?
Because it's not a coincidence that Russell is targeting some Tiffany brand franchises in the NFL. And it's also not a coincidence, for people who don't know, the Mara family who runs the Giants and the Rooney family who run the Steelers are connected. They're two of the kind of like the whatever 5 families or whatever of the NFL. They are literally related. They have some, marriages that have happened between the two families. Rooney Mara, the actress, back to the Películas Fantásticos. She is she and her sister Kate Mara they share lineage to both families. So it's not a coincidence that Russell is targeting this network of NFL dignitaries. He wants to be back in the fold so badly, and there's no better way to do that than to connect yourself to one of these two groups.
The connections that you just drew, that was Rooney Mara. She was the one in Dragon Tattoo. Is that the one?
Yeah, she was the main actress.
I thought she was foreign. I thought she was from like Sweden.
No, dude. Her father's family is the Mara family.
The Wellington Mara family? She's part of that?
Yeah, and so is her sister Kate. And then their mother's family is from the Rooney family. And that's why her first name is Rooney. That obviously that didn't apply to Kate, but they are, I wouldn't say heiresses, but they're, whatever the NFL version of like duchesses would be to these two NFL families.
I'm completely stunned. Over the weekend, we've got a lot of basketball to pay attention to as the conference finals series, or let me begin this. Conferences tournaments begin. We'll have Selection Sunday next week. Tomorrow, Texas waves goodbye to the regular season Big 12 games, and it's appropriate. OU coming into Austin as Texas will finish out one of the last things they'll be doing with the Big 12 in the regular season. Baseball, just about the last, and track, just about the last things that Texas will be doing with the Big 12. As they wave goodbye, University of Houston, the new participant with the Big 12, takes, or at least has a share of the Big 12 title and number one in the country to you and me.
There's a lot going on in the world of sports this week.
Well, I bring that up as this weekend comes, and everybody wants to win some money. Houston, Kansas tomorrow is going to be a heck of a game. Make sure you're paying attention. We are mania bound. If you're a big hoops type, make sure you're listening to the Blitz today. They're going to be going to Las Vegas. They're going to be staying at the Cirque during the Sweet 16 weekend, and they have avenues for you to go with them. Make sure you're paying attention to it. This is the beginning of what is a full sporting weekend, and it's been a pleasure taking you through those first couple of hours. RJ, as we wave goodbye to the week that was, any parting shots?
No, but I do want to say that I'll see you on Monday, as I always do, and it will happen 1 hour earlier than it usually does. So,
man. Yeah, reset your clocks. We'll see you an hour earlier. Make sure you're dialed in all day long.
Be early this year. Change the microwave and the oven on Sunday morning. Don't wait. Don't prolong.
Or
Don't
just wait. It'll come back to you in about 6 months. Thanks for hanging around. Hey, here comes Grady and roams on a vine. The Blitz is soon to follow. We'll see you again on Monday.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports